Hi, this is Luca Honas from Taiwan. You are listening to the No Name RC podcast. And for our Asian friends, 你好，我是 Luca， 你现在正在收听 No Name RC 广播。Have fun.
Nitro is the glory. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast with your host tonight, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and if you are unlucky, the Finnish village idiot, JQ. This is the RC podcast with no name but plenty of content. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious bench racing.
Yes, indeed. Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 19 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great, and this week's main guest is Elliot Boots. We got Elliot on. I'm super excited about that. I've wanted to get Elliot on board for a while. I know I say I'm a fan of almost every driver that comes on here, but I have a special place for Elliot because he's English. And as you guys know, I'm from Bermuda, which is a British colony, and I'm therefore English as well. So I was glad to have him on. He talks about his early career and his recent move to SWorks and his plans for the future. So it was a pretty good interview with him, or not even an interview, a good chat with him. And it's pretty good. I think it came out pretty decent. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Before I go on any further, though, I need to say thank you to our sponsors. First, I'd like to say thank you to FastRaceShop.com for sponsoring the 10 question, 10 second segment. Big shout out to Brent Densford and AssaultRC.com for sponsoring the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. And of course, to JQ Racing for the JQ Racing Rant. I actually am working on a new segment. I think I have found a sponsor for it. We'll announce that when it happens, but I think it's a really cool segment, and I think people will enjoy it because it's going to kind of be interactive with our viewers. Obviously, I don't know if you guys know how this podcast works, but we record everything. It's not done live, so it's kind of hard to do call-ins and stuff, which I would love to do one day, but that's a little bit beyond my technical skills at the moment, but we're learning as we go on. But I figured out a way how we can get the regular guy involved in this podcast, because this is what I do it for. I do it for the regular guys. I'm just like, hey, I'm a fan of RC just like everybody else. So I think this is gonna go over pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. I've already discussed it with the people who I want to help sponsor it, because hey, these intros, they cost money. They're not cheap. And I think, we're always trying to bring great content in this podcast for everyone. So and that's why I gotta say thank you to all the No Name RC squad around the world, man. I really, I know I say this all the time, but it really overwhelms me every time I get a message from somebody who says they enjoy the podcast or they're listening to it while they drive and keep up the good work. To all the listeners out there, we can't do it without you. So we appreciate it. We're at like 1,450 likes or more on Facebook. Let's get that up to 1,500. Next number is 2,000. Remember, like, share. Maybe you don't like the opinions that are said here. I don't care. It's our opinions. I don't do this to bash anybody. So, it just is. If you don't agree, that's cool. You can say why you don't agree. I don't mind. But I hope you guys enjoy the content that we bring. So shout out to all my No Name RC squad from around the world. Definitely shout out to all my JQ Racing family around the world. This family keeps on growing. Be a part of a team, not just a number. We're definitely against the odds. Hey, if you guys want to be a part of the fastest growing team in RC, give us a call, man. Look us up. We're always looking for cool people that believe in what we're doing and want to be a part of something and not just be a number. So give us a shout. I forgot. Let me shout out again to Brent Densford, Beach RC, JQ Racing USA, doing a great job over there, keeping parts stocked. Shout out to Jerome Chambon over there in Donuts RC, JQ Racing EU for our European guys who are located in Europe. They can get parts from him. You can also get parts from Andrew Rennick at Model Tune. I like Andrew Rennick. He's doing If you guys haven't checked it, follow Model Tune on Facebook. There's the Irish guys over there. They're always doing some great commercials or advertising for his brick and mortar shop. Andrew's a great guy. He's got a great group of guys over there that support him, and the UK guys support him as well. So it's really good. Shout out to Andrew Rennick and UK Model and Model Tune UK. See, I always get names mixed up. I don't know. Hey, I'm not perfect. I'm sorry. So, and all to our patrons on Patreon. Once again, we cannot do it without you guys. You guys go the extra mile, even if it's $1 a month. That support is greatly appreciated. If you guys wish to support us further, it's not necessary, it's not mandatory, but you can. Patreon.com/The Quagrain. We actually have a giveaway this week, and that giveaway is integrated into this podcast. So I'm excited about that. So here's how it's gonna work. You have to listen to this podcast. I actually called Joseph a name in this podcast, and if you want to win, I think we're going to give away some T-Pro tires that I have. And this is for everybody. I will have another giveaway for just the Patreon guys this week as well. But if you want to get a set of T-Pro tires, who I got from Independent Hobbies through Will Smith and Eric Olson, then listen to this podcast, write down the name that I called Joseph, put it in the comments under this podcast, and explain to me, this is what you got to do. You got to write the name, the alternative name to that, and what it actually is. So you got to listen to this podcast, and you'll see it's definitely, and you got to have a good ear, because maybe my accent messed it up or something like that. So I don't know. I'm just trying to look at different ways to make the podcast fun and make these giveaways fun. But yes, you can win a set of T-Pro tires from Independent Hobbies if you get this name right and get the description right. So pay attention, because it's interactive and you got to figure it out. I'll be giving away one of the cool driver stand. I just have driver stands in my pocket, or rostrums as we call them in the UK. I'll be giving away one of these car stands that my buddy Josh Baham has done. So he done about 5 of them, and we're going to give those away to a lucky patron. I don't know if that's going to have to be in America, because these things are pretty heavy, and I know shipping's going to be expensive, but we'll see. We'll do a spin the wheel, and some lucky person's going to get one of these car stands. They look pretty good. Great work, Josh. Don't forget, we have the big giveaway. I've decided we're going to do this giveaway at 2,000 likes and shares on Facebook. Yeah, even if it takes a few more months. But we're going to give away the awesome skateboard deck that my buddy I'm getting names mixed up again. That my buddy Clint Treadway done for me down there. And I want to say Dallas. I don't know. Garland. I know he goes to Indy and races a lot. And he done an awesome skateboard deck. And I really would like to keep it for myself, but maybe I'll get another one made up for it for myself and bring it home with me, because I think it will look cool on the wall. But when we get 2,000 likes, some lucky person is going to get that. And it's badass. So if you haven't seen it, I'll post up some more pictures. I know I've been saying that for a while. I've been kind of busy after I come back from my month-long stay in America. Speaking of races, we got some racing going on this weekend. I'm loving it. So racing starting again. It isn't really into full-fledged racing, but we got a lot of races going on this week. We got the first run of the TSOC race in the Carolinas. 2 states, 1 championship race. That's at Badlands this weekend. So I guess Brent and Lucas and a few other JQ guys will be attending that. Just talked to our team manager, Paco Pacman Tupate, Smasher of Skulls. He's off to Chihuahua for the first round of the Nationals, the Mexican Nationals this weekend. Him, Lico Reds, and Alam Martinez and a few other JQ guys are going to that race. I look forward to Paco's race reports. He writes some of the best race reports I've ever seen in RC. He makes it super exciting. Joseph, I didn't even know this till I talked to him the other day, but Joseph is off to the SIGP, which is actually in China. It's the the track where they had the 10 scale worlds. I looked at a video of this track yesterday, and wow, it's amazing. It's got a section there I've never seen before in my life. So it should be interesting. This is actually a big payout race. And I think Lutz is going there, Billy Easton, John Newman, some fast Japanese guys, Joseph. So yeah, I think TQ and Win, they pay out $7,000. That's pretty impressive. So it looks like it's going to be a big race over there in China. I'll check it out throughout the week. I'm sure I'll get some videos. It'll be way past my bedtime to watch it live. So that's cool. Also, we have the Icebreaker at Indy Rc this weekend. Now, here's something I didn't know about this race. I was talking to Alex Morelli. Alex is the owner of Indy Rc, him and his dad, Tej. Great people. Alex is a big supporter of RC. He's traveling to all these races in the Indy Rc trailer, selling parts. But he told me yesterday that the Icebreaker race is 25 years old. I didn't know that. So I'm pretty amazed about that. I'm going to have to get him on the podcast. Maybe we'll get him on next week, and he could tell us a little bit more about it. About Indy Rc as well, because I don't really know all the history, but there's actually quite an interesting history behind Indy Rc. So maybe we'll get Alex on to talk about that. I know he's got his big race this weekend. They're at 359 entries. Obviously, they have Sportsman, Open, and Pro, Nitro Buggy, E-Buggy, and Nitro Truck. Pro has payouts this week, so that's good to see. Some more money. People can make some money. I think Nitro Buggy payout is at 1,000 for first, 600 for second, and 400 for third. E-Buggy 750 for first, 450 for second, 300 for third, and Nitro Truck is the same. The Open winners will get store credit payouts, and Sportsman guys get trophies. So hey, they're thinking outside of the box. It's the largest race in Texas this year. So if you was thinking about, I don't know if entries are still open because it's capped, but be interesting to see what's going on. I'll follow it on Live RC. I'm excited to see that. So we got a lot of racing going on this weekend. Probably more that I don't know about. So I'm sorry if I didn't mention it. I don't know all the racing that's going on, but I'm just glad that people are racing. So this week we did things a little bit different. I did the Assault RC Invisible Speed with Joseph myself. We had some viewer questions. Some guys had sent me private messages, and they had some questions for Joseph, and I finally got around to them. I even had a question for Joseph. So the Invisible Speed segment is pretty good this week. Jeff decided he wanted to rant. He had asked me a couple weeks ago if he could do a rant. Joseph had a rant. Joseph finally remembered his rant. So, man, the rant is actually pretty long this week, and it's definitely PG-13. So, there's definitely some curse words in there because we know how Jeff and Joseph are, and it's all good. I mean, we're grown men here. I know we have some kids that listen to this as well. So I'm just giving you a warning before you get there. It's not that bad, but it's definitely great rants. Joseph brings up great points. Jeff brings up great points. And then now Jeff is like in a competition to see whose rant is better, his or Joseph's. So comment on put down whose rant you like more in the comments once you listen to this podcast. It'll be interesting. So then, I don't know, maybe they can out-rant themselves some other time. I don't know. But it's a great rant. It touches on a few things in the industry that I feel strongly about as well. And maybe others do. So we'll see how that goes. Also, I did a podcast with Nick Damon last week for the Starting Grid, the RCGP podcast. If you guys don't know what that is, it's I always post the links in the No Name RC podcast Facebook page. Please go by. We have 3 episodes so far. Nick Damon had a lot to say. As usual, because Nick has a lot to say, and he's one of the best commentators in RC. So go over and check that out. And I like to say something. I like to say what he says. He doesn't call it toy cars anymore. He calls it scale motorsports. So I'll be calling it scale motorsports from here on now. So, but we all know that this weekend they had the EOS race, and there was some scandal as usual involving Xray and some practice laps before the race and whatnot. I was told about it by Joey Fisher, like on Thursday day, or maybe, I can't remember. I was super busy, so I didn't get a chance to look into it, and I waited a little bit. I saw Tom Cockerell made a post. I shared it. It was pretty epic what he said. I don't know all the rules and what happened and what really happened, so I decided I need to talk to Joseph and find out what happened. So let's stop talking about it. Let me give Joseph a call, and we'll talk about what happened at EOS this weekend. So give me a second. But before I do that, thank you to all the guys who support us. Thank you for listening. Remember, like and share this podcast, and hey, enjoy the podcast. And remember, if you want to win a set of tires, you got to listen to this podcast. You really do. With that said, let me call up Joseph.
Hi, this is Richard Saxton, and you're listening to the No Name RC podcast.
Joseph, what's going on? How are you, man?
It's all good here.
Yeah, I had to call you up because I wanted to get your opinion on this whole Xray thing at EOS this weekend. I mean, that was all the talk this weekend. I mean, Joey Fisher actually sent me a message. I think it was Thursday. Maybe it was Wednesday. Showing me the video. I was like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. And it's like, they're practicing on the track. And I'm like, okay, ain't they supposed to do that? I don't know. Like, I don't really follow. I follow EOS, but not that big. I was really busy. But I mean, like, it's just been like the shit hit the fan after that, man. And it was a big topic this week. So I just wanted to talk to you about it and find your opinion on it and what happened and what you think.
Yeah, I mean, I saw all that go down on Facebook. That was pretty funny, I thought. Yeah, I mean...
So what happened? Let's talk about what happened, actually, first and foremost.
Okay, let's start with what happened. So they had an EOS race at the Hoodie Arena. Mm-hmm. And the lap counting software recorded the lap times and put them up on the A&B website or somewhere. So someone saw that they had been driving on the track after it was rebuilt, when the track was supposed to be closed. Now, I don't think there's necessarily even a rule in the EOS that isn't allowed, but it's more like sort of a gentleman rule at the very least, that you kind of rebuild the track and then the first car on the track is in the first practice. So over 200 laps had been done, and then someone figured out that it was Uri Hoodie, I think Igor Liptak was his name, and then Martin Bayer and Daniel Kobbevik. Mm-hmm. So they all practiced on the track after it was rebuilt. And then Tom Cockerell posted it online and made a big fuss about it.
Oh yeah,
Xray had been known in the past to, get caught for tire sourcing when you're not allowed to source, or I think there were some other issues too. So basically he was saying that Xray will do anything to win, and they even cheat to do so. That's what he claimed. And then, people defending Xray and people against them. So it was clear. They practiced on the track when they weren't supposed to. At least, if not according to some EOS rule, at least according to like the fair play, like the spirit of fair racing or whatever, however you can say it. So that's what happened. And then Xray even made a statement saying that I think Martin Bayer said that it was just some non-EOS drivers practicing, or testing the jumps, testing the track. But I mean, that's already proven to be a lie. So he lied about that, because Kobbevik even got a penalty. Like, he wasn't allowed to do one of the practice runs at the race because he was running the previous day. But for some reason, Martin Bayer was. I don't understand that, because they both ran on the track before the race, but only one of them got a penalty. So that's kind of weird. And then Uri Hoodie also put out the statement saying that they built a new layout and then they just had to test the track. But he kind of sidestepped the whole thing about Kobbevik and Martin Bayer practicing on it. So they never even mentioned that. So a bit of smoke and mirrors there, I think.
Yeah. But my point would be, if there was nothing wrong with them testing the track, why was the penalty handed out then? If there's no rule about it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I haven't seen any EOS rule about that. Maybe it is. Maybe it's like an unspoken thing. I don't know.
But
I'd put it like this. In racing, typically, there are those who really want to win, but do it in a fair way. Then there are those who want to win so bad that they're willing to kind of bend the rules and do anything that they can get a bit of an advantage, but still don't really want to blatantly cheat. And then there are those who just don't give a shit and do whatever they can to win. Those are the people who, do doping or stuff like that.
Right.
In athletics, for example. Like they'll do whatever it takes to win. They know it's wrong. They cheat. Sometimes they get away with it. Other times they get caught. So it's a bit of Xray is a bit of a hard one, I think, because mostly all these things that they get caught for are in the gray area. Like this, I would say, is in the gray area. If you're doing everything in kind of the fair play spirit, like let's keep everything fair and equal, then you're not going to practice on the track. But if there's no rule, then why wouldn't you? Like,
I don't
you
get
really
it.
want to win and you don't care about what anyone else thinks, like we just want to win, then why not practice if you can? Because there's no rule that says you can't. Like people think that, it's not fair play or it's against the, gentleman rules or this or that. Well, that's not really a rule. So fuck it. We're going to practice.
Yeah. I think they just got caught. Like, we forgot to unplug the transponder and we got caught. So,
yeah. So, but I mean to say is if there's no rule, then it's not cheating.
Exactly.
It's just doing everything you can to win within the rules. So, I don't know. Maybe they need to write a rule that says that then, because I haven't seen a rule that says that.
It's the gray area, dude. It's the Xray gray area. They exploit it.
In this case, definitely it's the gray area. The whole additive thing at the 2015 Euros, I mean, that's pretty clear. Like, that's cheating because everyone knew that the additives are not allowed.
Wow,
like you aren't allowed to put any chemicals.
Everybody besides Wolanka.
That was clear. Well, everyone except, but Wolanka is like a separate case. He doesn't know most things when it comes to the rules or what's going on. He just he's a different breed.
Yeah, but he was the sacrificial lamb
team,
kind of.
Xray definitely knew you weren't allowed to use additive, and they did. That's cheating. So you can see from that they're willing to cheat if they have to win. But most of the time, it's this gray area, like pushing a driver to use another tire than what they're sponsored to use. These sorts of things, like there's no rule against that. That's not cheating. Do you know what I mean? Like if they say to Martin Bayer at the Worlds, let's say Martin Bayer was an AKA driver. AKA tires were not lasting as long as the Proline tires. And they say, look, we need the best result for Xray possible. You'll get the best result with Proline. You're going to have to run Proline in the main. He runs Proline. He gets kicked off AKA. It's not cheating. It's just not good form. Like, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, I get that. It's unethical. It's probably ungentlemanly, but at the same time, if there's no rules about it, then they didn't really break any rules. Maybe they broke a gentleman agreement. I get it. People are pissed off and probably they're a little bit tired of that. But at the end of the day, if there's no rule about it, they didn't break any. But then it's so weird. How did he get I don't get it. Like, this is where I'm confused. Then why even did
because why give Kobevic a penalty but Martin Bayer not?
I don't know if did he get a penalty exactly for that or was there something else? He did cut the track or something, and I think he got a penalty. Maybe we're confused.
I heard that he wasn't allowed to take part in one of the practice rounds.
In the practice. I think he did get penalized for cutting the track as well. If I'm
but that's different from a different race. So I can see it both ways. I can see how if you're an Xray supporter, you're like, we'll just do anything to win. Like, it's okay. And then I can see, like, you respect the passion in a sense. Like, they want to win so bad, it's okay, we accept this. And then I can see it the other way too, where it's like, well, that's not cool. Like, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to win fair and square. Look at Formula One. Like, Michael Michael Schumacher won all those championships, but he often, I mean, Ferrari was caught, bending the rules this way and that way, and very often weren't penalized. But him as a driver too, like he would try and break other people and knock them off the track if he was in a position where if they don't finish, he wins the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Like it takes a certain mentality to do that. Like if you're blatantly just going to try and hit someone to have them DNF so you can win, it takes a certain kind of person to do that. Some people would be like, I want to win, but I want to win fair. Other people are, I want to win. It doesn't matter what it takes. I'm going to win. And those are the people who, they're like, their instinct, first reaction is like, this guy's overtaking me. I'm going to turn into him.
Yeah. That's
like it's more instinct than they don't like think about that. They just do it.
Right.
Like I just saw some F1 thing, video on YouTube about the year that Jacques Villeneuve won the Formula One World Championship. And the last race, basically, if Jacques Villeneuve didn't finish, Schumacher was champion. He had a 1-point lead. So when Jacques Villeneuve came to overtake Schumacher, he dove to the inside. And this is such a great example because at first Schumacher saw, oh shit, there's someone there, and turns the other way, sees who it is, and turns into him. Like you can literally see the guy like give room because he saw another car was there. Oh shit, there's a car, gives room, sees who it is, turns into him. But Jacques Villeneuve was lucky that there wasn't too much damage on the car. He could continue, and Schumacher actually went off the track, so he lost the championship. Yeah. But there you could see the mentality, like split second decision reaction. There was no time to like think about it. That's who he is as a person. He's driven to win. He'll do anything to win. He knew this guy can't beat him, so he just turns into him. He did the same to Damon Hill and actually succeeded a few years before that. So like that's one way of thinking. That's one way of racing. Do anything to win. Don't care about the rules. Or don't care about looking like a good guy.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, I think why this was such a big deal is that, like we said, Xray has been known to be in the gray area or actually break rules at some time. I think in the post he had a picture of Hootie saucing tires at the DHL Cup where his sauce was banned.
Yeah.
The only way I can see around that is to actually allow saucing, but then people will get into a whole nother spiel about it being safe and whatnot. I get that too. But prohibition never works. Regulation and well, I like to regulate it and regulate it and control it. That's the best way you can do. Hopefully. Yeah. So I don't know.
I mean, I don't agree with those kind of actions.
Yeah,
like,
but
okay, rebuild the track and practice on the track.
Oh, I don't either.
Closed for everyone else. I don't agree with it. I don't have a huge I don't hate Xray or think like, oh, Xray is terrible because they did that. It's not a big deal. Like it's life. Some people want to win more than others, and they're willing to do more than others to win. Okay, it's not a huge deal to me. But what I don't like is like lying about it, and that's the part that I don't. That's the part that gets me more than what actually happened. Like, if you're doing that kind of shady stuff, just be honest about it. Like in this whole Uri Hoodie's post on Facebook, it says, in the last 44 years, when I am involved in RC racing, I did maximum effort to support and expand this hobby, and therefore I always require correct and fair work of our team. That's complete bullshit. Everyone knows it's bullshit. No one is saying Xray haven't done great things for RC. They have. I have huge respect for Xray and what they do, their racing series and their tracks and their facility and their products and their like slick marketing and branding. It makes RC look like much better and cooler. That's great. It's awesome. Like what Hoodie has done for RC is spectacular and awesome. And you should respect that. At the same time, they are willing to bend the rules to win. Bend the rules, even cheat at times to win. Those are two separate things. But he's trying to say that they are all fair and correct and they do great things for the hobby. And if you say that they bend the rules and cheat, then you are not respecting their good work for RC. No, I can sit here and say that I have huge respect for what they do, and they do a great job for RC, but they also bend the rules and even cheat at times. I can say both of those things. I think you should just be straightforward and honest about these things. That's the part that gets me, not what they did. Just they should be like, yeah, okay, there's no rule about this, and we really want to win, and this is what we did. Whatever, like, just fucking own it.
Yeah, I agree. But, I mean, it was the drama this weekend. And on the flip side, I know somebody's going to say this. I know it. Well, what about you, JQ, and your water in the fuel tank at, what was it, DNC or Silver State? People have to realize you didn't do that either.
No, I didn't do that, and I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. That was...
But Degani did it, so what? Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and I mean...
That's hardly the...
It's nothing. I mean,
thing, is it?
I know, but people will say that. I know they will. They'll say, well, you cheated. Well, you didn't cheat. Your tank passed the tech. Like, it needed to cool down, and the only thing you should have done was put actual cold fuel in there or whatever, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
There shouldn't have been a whole bunch of people around the tech thing influencing it anyway. That's another pet peeve I have, If you're going to do tech, you should do it in private or without public influence,
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen now?
No, I don't.
Now there's going to be even more eyes on the whole 10-scale Worlds at the Xray facility.
Yeah, and that's going to damage it, like, you know what I mean? And
well, it was already an issue, and now it's definitely going to be an issue. But I don't see...
Why did they take it from the original venue?
This is not Xray's fault, okay? Xray would be stupid if they wouldn't take every advantage they can from having the Worlds at their facility. And of course they are. I mean, why wouldn't they? They could essentially build an exact replica of the World's track. I believe it's going to be on the dirt track. So they could build a track and then practice on it for like months.
Mm-hmm.
Then they could tear it down and rebuild a track for the Worlds and make it exactly the same. They could do that.
They would have already have learned the surface too, Yeah,
but they could even build exactly the same layout. It's a new track. They rebuilt it, but it's just the same as what they just had. Like, they can do that.
I think, I don't know.
Do you see what I mean? Like, they can. There's no rule against that. They can do that.
I don't know why they just don't go the route of making, I don't know.
They could decide that they close the track, however, like, I don't know what the rule. Let's say the rule is you have to close the track 1 month before the race. They could decide that they close it 2 months before the race. Okay. Then they build a track, and the testman moves to Slovakia for a month, which he should do. And then they just practice there every day, every single day, running laps. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then they break it down and they prove it. They can film videos. Oh, we start the World's track build now. And then they just build the same track.
Yeah.
They can do that.
I don't know. It's a conundrum. Why did the original venue get cancelled anyway? Do you know?
Was that the French venue?
I think
because
so.
The Euros was such a disaster.
Okay. I don't know I know how a lot of people feel about it because it was all the talk during this weekend. But 217 laps to test the layout. So I don't. I guess that one jump they moved was pretty good. They had to make sure it was just right.
Uri goes on. All the haters, the haters with 2 teeth, all the haters who just undermine the great spirit of this hobby can, of course, anytime make the things better than we do. So I guess he's talking directly to me now. I'm just a hatter here.
No, but
I would appreciate any constructive and positive efforts and actions from anyone that will help our sport.
But at the same time,
it all sounds good. Like
you didn't start
saying the right things.
You didn't do
saying
this.
the right things, but actions speak louder than words, my friend. That's what I would say.
Yeah, but this had nothing to do with you. You just you just followed suit what people told you. You didn't discover it. You didn't post it up first.
No, I didn't even make the post.
Yeah,
I just commented on it.
But somehow it would
funny.
It would be your fault somehow, some way.
Well, now after the podcast, definitely.
No, but we aren't saying anything bad. We're actually saying that we understand why they done it at the same time. You know what I mean? Because there is no room for it. So Yes, it sucks. It's gray area, but it is what it is, man. We can't change what's done. And at the end of the day, Michael Olowski won 2-wheel drive, and Coelho won 4-wheel drive, and Coelho wasn't there until late Thursday. So
yeah, both of those guys were there for the race previous weekend, I think.
Oh, okay.
And to practice, so they both run on the track. I mean, they just made a small change for EOS, I believe.
Okay. Cool. Well, being as I got you online, we might as well. It's just going to be you and I this week because Jeff's going to come on the rant because he has this ultimate rant planned out for us, and he asked to come on. So I have a few viewer questions for the setup page. I mean, for the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. So why don't we just do our intro and jump right on into the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment.
You are now locked in to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. Check out AssaultRC.com for the latest products for all your performance RC needs. Featuring the best lubes and specialty tools on the market. Use promo code LEFTY19 at checkout for 10% off your entire order at AssaultRC.com.
Welcome, everybody, to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. Got Joseph here with us to talk about some setup things today. No Jeff this week. He's going to do our rant here later on today. So I have had a few questions come in from some of our viewers over the weeks. So I thought I would take a few of them and ask you about them, Joseph. They're pretty just basic questions, but they're pretty good. So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So this first question comes from Michael. I'm sorry, Michael. I'm going to butcher your name here. Gilsingham. I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure. But he sent me this message a few weeks, early February, and I just haven't had a chance to ask you about it. But what he wants to know is, do you yourself, let me see it. There is probably, all right, he says, hi guys, really enjoying the podcast. Keep up the good work. It's probably been asked already a ton or whatever, but I wanted to know, can you set up he basically wants to know, is there an advantage to setting up your transmitter that helps you drive your car better, like in the air, going into corners and stuff like that? And do you apply that to any of your radios that you use, Joseph?
I would say not. You can't set anything up to drive better, really. But you can make it more comfortable, I think. So you can use the curves, like the exponential curve.
Mm-hmm.
You can add some of that, so some negative curve to make the initial response of your steering or your throttle less, or your brake even. So if you add some negative exponential, it will make the initial movement of your steering wheel or trigger less movement on the servo, so it will be smoother.
So you'll still get the same amount of throw, it will just not be as fast.
Yes, so initially it will be less, and then at the end it will be more. So
not exponential, but
the overall end point is still the same. It's just how it reaches that point is different.
Right. He basically wants to know, this is the exact question, now that I can read it properly. He says, it basically asks that if you can use anything on the radio with the chassis to help with your driving technique. And I think I've used throttle curve myself. I used it at the last big race I went to, which was AMS, and I liked it. And then I gave my car for somebody else to drive, and they hated it. Like, they wanted it like full throttle all the way. And I was like, man, I kind of like it. And I was able to do all the jumps and do everything I wanted to do. But for them, the latency was a little bit too much. So maybe they were younger. They probably had faster reactions than me anyway. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So basically, go ahead.
That's really the only thing people tend to use is the exponential.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go positive, it's more responsive. Negative, less responsive.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's the exponential on throttle and dual rate on.
No, exponential on throttle or brake or steering.
Right, but exponential, is, well, on some radios it's like where you set your endpoints. If I'm trying to remember on mine, been so long since I've touched that stuff.
Well, those are different. Exponential is just So let's say standard radio, it's linear.
Mm-hmm.
If you start turning the steering wheel, you turn it a certain amount, the servo will turn a certain amount. Then, like halfway through turning, you turn it a certain amount. It's still the same. Like whatever position of the wheel you have, if you turn it the same amount more, the servo will turn the same. With exponential, you can change it. So initially, as you start turning the wheel, the servo will turn less, for example, with negative expo. Then later on in the throw, that same amount of turning the steering wheel will have the servo turn more.
Got you.
You see what I mean? So initially it smooths out. Initially, as you start turning the wheel, the servo is turning less. Later on in the throw, like towards like halfway and past halfway, the servo will be turning more for that same wheel movement. Or you can do it the other way, positive exponential, where initially you turn the wheel a certain amount, the servo is turning more. As you turn the wheel more, like later in the throw, the servo will be turning less.
Got you. I understand
that. So that's exponential. And then actually there's another way to change the feel of steering. So you could, you can turn your dual rate all the way up. I haven't tried it now actually on this latest radio. I'm sure at least in the past it went to 120. So you turn the dual rate all the way up, then you set your endpoints. That's going to feel one way. Then you could turn your dual rate to 80 and set your endpoints. That's going to feel a different way again.
Got you.
I think the dual rates, I think when you have a higher dual rate, you can think of it as having more steps for the servo as you turn the wheel. So it's like more precise, a finer tuning on the steering wheel. And when you have less, it's fewer steps.
Got you.
If that makes sense.
I understand what you mean. So
I think that's how it works. I haven't tried that in a long time. I just remember that it does change the feel of the steering.
So basically what you're trying to say is that with the higher exponential, higher dual rate, instead of like when you have the lower, let's say the lower one has 10 steps to get to full throw. With 120, there's 20. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's being the point. So it's like a finer setting of the steering.
I never even thought of that, to be honest. So that's good stuff, actually. Anything else you wish to add on that?
No, I don't. I think maybe on-road guys do more things. I'm not sure, but for me, what I do with my radio is really maybe add some expo, but not very much. Like maybe even just 10%. And I think at that point it's almost just placebo. Maybe it does a bit, but that's what I do. E-buggy, sometimes I do more. Like e-buggy, maybe I even have like 30%, because at least before when I used the LRP electronics, because I felt like the throttle and the brake was quite aggressive.
Right.
So I added some negative expo, and you could really tell the difference. Okay. And then I set my endpoints, and I use the lap counter on my radio. That's really good for practice. So on the Sunwa, you can set your lap counter so that every lap you can click it with your thumb. So you don't really need to move your fingers or your hand. You're kind of just holding the radio, and then you just squeeze your thumb, and you press the button, so you get a lap time. So it's really easy to do. So I can take my own lap times, and then you can set a goal time. So say like 5 minutes, and you can set it to vibrate 10 seconds before. So it counts down 10 seconds, and then you're done. Gotcha. So that's really good for when you're practicing alone. You can time your own runs.
Okay, cool. And our next question comes from Anders Rydstedt. Sorry if I butcher you guys' names. I'm not really good with it. And he says this: question for JQ on the next podcast. What role can the pit guy play in a race other than refueling? Can they give productive, immediate feedback that can help the driver improve during racing, qualifying, or even practice sessions? If so, what kind of details should they look for, like positions, lap times, handling, and your thoughts on the headsets? Well, first of all, before we even get into that, I'm going to say I really hate being your pit guy, because you break down on that, and especially when we got the headsets on. It's like I watch you have a mental breakdown when you do something stupid. Oh, you did not fill me up fast enough. You didn't put enough fuel in there. I told you to bring me in at 7:30. Oh, thank God you didn't do that. And mess up my pit.
You know why? Because I have that time on my radio, so I know when you mess up.
I didn't. No, I haven't messed up. I have not messed up. I remember when Jeff and I were pitting for you for Southern Nats, and he was talking to you. You kept. And we're like, it's 7:30. Like, it's 7:30. Like, what is this guy talking about? Anyway, what do you have to say to Anders about having a good pit guy?
I think it's really important in Nitro. And that's actually one problem that I've had throughout my racing career, if you want to call that I haven't really had a permanent pit guy. I've had a few for, certain events and times, but it's not like I've had one guy always there. And I think it's really important because as a driver, you need to trust your pit guy. You need to know that whatever happens, they will know what to do. And they'll always do the right thing. And you can only get that trust by having the same guy do your pit work a lot. So I think it's really important. And I think the headsets can help a lot because your pit crew can not only knowing that your pit crew is there and won't make a mistake and they'll do the right thing if something surprising happens, that kind of lets the driver be more calm and focus on just driving. Especially now with the headsets, the pit crew can do more also. So they can see what's going on in the race. They can see that, okay, some section of the track, for example, if you're losing time, like you're picking the wrong line or doing something not the fastest way, like the pit crew can see someone else doing it better. They can let you know. Mm-hmm. So they can help you with your line choice or the way you're driving through some sections. And that's going to help. Like, hey, like just simple stuff even. Maybe from the driver's stand, it's looking like you're doing some corner just right, but you're going wide unnecessarily, losing time. Well, especially in practice, these sorts of things is what your mechanic should be looking out for and telling you in the headset. Like, hey, this next corner, or that corner you just did, go tighter there. And then maybe reminding you, like, you're coming up to this corner, go tight here. You're going too wide. Just stuff like that to get the driver to think about what they're doing. So that's one thing. And also, it depends a bit on the driver. Some drivers don't like to be talked to at all, but others would benefit from having a mechanic to remind them to, calm down, or that they're doing well. Just, slow down a bit, calm down. Your lap times are good. Don't get stressed out, like those kind of things. Or then maybe your lap times are kind of dropping off a bit, maybe losing focus or not attacking as much. Maybe your mechanic can see that and see, like, hey, you need to step it up. You need to, focus more. Like go for your try and go for your best laps again, like you did early on. Like there's a lot that the mechanic can do to help. And also, I think the mechanic needs to think about the pit strategy a bit too, because racing with other cars on the track will always be slower than driving alone. So even if it's just 2 laps, so if you can stretch your pit stop, for example, so you have 2 laps of empty track, that's more beneficial than just sticking to your pit window, or your 7:30 pit stop or whatever you've picked, mm-hmm. and pitting with all the other cars. Like if you're driving in a group of cars, why pit together with them if you can go longer? Even if the amount of pit stops ends up being the same, if you can just pit at a different time, that might be beneficial.
Yeah, I'll give you some clear track.
So there are those sorts of things that a good mechanic can also do.
It's funny, at DNC, Mike Hill did a lot of pitting for Degani. And Degani, I think, gave him a really good compliment. And I think this is a really great compliment because Degani's had some great pit guys in his life. He said to Mike Hill, "You're probably the best pit guy I've ever pitted, that's ever pitted me, ever." And that's pretty important, and it means a lot. So having a good pit guy is definitely important. I mean, even myself, my racing times when I used to race, I mean, I used to always get my buddy. I used to love my buddy Alex pitting for me and my buddy Manuel because they knew how to do it. Like they would like, hey, come in and this, you know, they would. I didn't have to worry when I was pitting. When they were pitting me, I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to worry about if I was going to run out of fuel, who was doing this. They were really good pit guys, and that helped a lot. So most definitely having a steady pit guy is very important, in my opinion. But I'm just a lowly pleb who just about makes racing any day. So, but
but it's the same for the top guys.
Yeah,
it's important.
Yeah, it is. It's very important. That's why you see guys like Mick Craddock and guys like that who's get with one driver and they're always with him. You know, I don't know who else is probably a good. Reagan LeBlanc was a great pit guy coming up. You know, him and Dagani. He was like a professional.
Ronnie Falk always has his dad and Adrian.
Yes. Ongaro. Yes, Ongaro has his dad.
His dad and Very.
Who else can we say?
It's important.
Who else can we say that has it? I mean, Drake's always pitting for Mayfield if they're not in the same main. So I think they trust each other, or they have True there to help them out, or you know, something like that. So it's definitely important having. Cav has Saxton, had Saxton, or has his dad. Rivkin has Saxton. So, yeah, having a pit guy is very important. Very, very important. So I hope that answers his question. I have one more question for you. And this is actually equivalent to our Assault RC Invisible Speed, is that Assault RC actually brought out some, and this is for our JQ guys, and I have to ask this because I like this on my car, and maybe it will translate into other cars that use this system. But on our car, we have the steering plates that you can put different ones on. So Brent just got these number 3 plates done, and I feel they give the car more steering. How is that accomplished? And what you've run the number 3 plates? I don't think you like them too much, but what did you notice when you ran them?
Okay, so the steering plates, they attach to the steering knuckle, and what they do is they move the location of the link. So you can have a longer link so that the carbon plate is shorter and the link is further into the wheel, or you can have a longer carbon plate so the steering link is shorter, so it's towards the inside of the car, so further out of the wheel. And what it does, it changes Ackerman. So it changes the way the steering feels. The stock part is plate number 1, which is the longest plate. So the steering link will be the shortest. And what that does, it gives a lot of Ackerman and makes it so the initial steering is very smooth. And then as you turn the wheels more, let's say you go in a hairpin and you turn the wheels, then you'll have a good amount of steering. Mm-hmm. So initially smooth and then more steering in the corner. But the reason for having different plates is different tracks will require different wheel angles. So if you take the stock steering and you feel that that's the number 1 plate, the long plate, and you feel that the car is quite kind of numb, like it's not responsive enough. You want it to be a bit more responsive so you can drive more precisely, or your track is kind of tight and you need to kind of be able to flick the car around. But you like the overall feel otherwise. You just need some response. Then you can go to the number 3 plate, which is a bit shorter. So then that lengthens the link a bit and it gives you more initial steering. But overall, the steering feel is still quite similar. Then let's say that you're on a track with really slippery hairpins and your car pushes. So initially it's smooth, then you go into a hairpin, you turn the wheels all the way, but your car just pushes. You're not getting around the tight corners on the track. And this is especially apparent on slippery tracks. The reason is that the front tire angles are such that they're kind of fighting each other. They're scrubbing speed. Instead of turning the car, they're kind of slowing the car down. So we want to change the amount of Ackerman with your wheels fully turned. And that's when you would go to the number 2 plate. So the number 2 plate is the shortest one. So it lengthens the steering link even more. And initially, this one is quite responsive. But then the biggest benefit of it is when you go into that slippery hairpin and you turn, the car will turn a lot more, and you can carry a lot more corner speed. And it's just it's a clear difference. You'll be able to notice a difference. So if your car pushes in, especially in hairpins, then go to the number 2 plate, and you'll have more steering in those corners.
Okay. I think I have the number 2s on my car now, my old car, and it definitely turns a lot tighter. But it also it makes it a little bit too much for me and my old reflexes. So I don't know.
Yeah, and maybe with a number 2 plate, you could also try then. Like, yeah, you get the steering in the hairpins, but it makes the car nervous or responsive. So maybe then you go to a 20-degree C-hub to compensate for that.
Sounds
so
like
that's something you could try.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, I was wondering about that myself because I've never really asked you about that. I do like the number 3 plates. They seem to be the best on my car so far for me, and it seemed to work at pretty much every track that I went to and let people drive my car last year. So we'll see. I'll get some more and put them back on there on my new car that I just got. So I hope that helps clear that up for some of our JQ guys. Not even that. I mean, I'm sure you can apply that to other brands as well. So good stuff. We learned about transmitter setup, the importance of having a good pitman, and steering plates on cars. So thank you for your time, Joseph. I'm going to hang up with you. I got an interview with Boots, and then I'm going to call you and Jeff back for the JQ Racing Rant. This has been the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. Remember, you can go to assaultrc.com, put in Lefty19 in all caps, and you get 10% off your order. Check him out. He's got some really cool tool holders, some pit mats, and some other 10 scale stuff for, you know, you 10 scale guys who are into oval and all that stuff. He's got some nice stuff over there for that. And he's always adding more stuff as we go. So go check him out. And thank you to them for sponsoring this segment. Joseph, I'll call you back after I finish talking to Boots, okay?
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Sure thing. Bye.
Hey, this is Elliot Boots, and you're listening to No Name RC Podcast.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? Today, my guest on the No Name RC Podcast, episode 19, is the man himself, Elliot Boots, the fastest man in 8 scale in the UK, I would say. How you doing, dude?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm really good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm just chilling. You know, it's getting pretty hot here in the DR already. It's like 80 degrees. How about yourself? What you up to?
I'm just wrenching on my cars as usual.
Oh, yeah?
Getting ready for some more practicing. Getting ready for a race.
Oh, yeah? Where are you racing next?
I've got a 1/10th national coming up in the UK. And then the weekend after, 2 weekends after, is the DXR Kings.
Yes.
So that'll be my first race.
Yeah, that looks like a great race. How's life in Italy? Do you go back to the UK a lot?
Yeah. I'm always backwards and forwards and to the UK and then obviously around the world racing. So, but yeah, no, it's nice. The weather's a bit better here than the UK.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. I was looking at, I'm going to get this out of the way because SJ Chandler said to say to you, give him a shout out on the podcast and all the guys at Hearts. He was there this weekend.
Yeah.
So he said, tell Boots to give me a shout out on the podcast. So give him a shout out so we could get that out of the way to SJ and the guys at Hearts.
How's it going, SJ? How's it going, man?
Yeah.
I'll have to see you soon at Hearts.
Yeah, it was raining there this weekend. He sent a video. It was like, yeah, that's typical English weather right there. Raining and cold.
Yeah, I think they had like every kind of weather in one day.
Sounds about right. So, from my experience being in the UK. But I like it there. I really like the UK, and I like to go back and live there some days. If I ever leave the DR, that's where I'm going to live in the UK. People think I'm crazy, but I love it there. So I'm happy to have you on. Let's just get some things out of the way. You're 26 years old. You have 2 European championships, 2015, 2016, a 4-time 8-scale British champion, multiple podiums around the world. Your worst race where you have the worst luck is the Worlds, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Anything else to add to your list of accomplishments that I didn't mention?
No, not really. Won quite a few international races over the years. But yeah, no, obviously the main ones are the European titles, which I'm really proud of. We did a good job there. You know, it was tough races.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, I have a question about that later because I remember your race in 2015 was a great race and it was good to see all the English guys cheering you on. You know, I think
Yeah.
I really like the Euros. It's like a mini Worlds because it's a little bit different from the Raw Nationals because it's like countries. So the countries get behind each other and support. And it's a little like the Nationals, yes, you have individual states, but it's more about teams and individual guys. But in the Euros, it's more like a Worlds because obviously Europe's split up into so many countries. So I think it brings that flavor.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously race for our own team, manufacture teams, and for ourselves. But also at the Euros, you know, we also have like a country podium, you know, for the race for our country. So we obviously tend to support, you know, our fellow countrymen as well, which is really nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get started on this. I don't really know too much about your early years in RC. I know you started out, but why don't we just touch on how you actually got started into RC briefly?
Yeah. Okay. Well, basically, I started off probably like most people, getting an RC car for Christmas from my parents. I think it was a Tamiya. I'm not sure what it was. It was just like a basic, ready-to-run car. So I started off doing that for a while. I think I smashed the car to like pieces over the years. So I started off there. Like my dad was racing, and my uncle was probably part of the reason I started as well, because my dad used to mechanic for him. He was a factory driver for Kyosho back in the day.
Oh, really?
Interesting. Yeah. So I kind of like started off, you know, looking up to him and watching him and that. I also used to get quite a lot of hand-me-down stuff for many years, you know, my dad and then to me. So yeah, that's where it all really began, and then into 8 scale.
Who was your uncle?
Richmond Rogers.
Richmond Rogers. I'm gonna have to ask some of the English guys. Who was he? So he's a factory driver back in what, the 90s, I would say.
Yeah. So he raced for Kyosho and, you know, Rossi and that, and he's attended Reedy races and he's won nationals and stuff. So.
Does he still race, or is he still involved in RC? Or?
No, not anymore. No, he gave up quite a while ago.
Okay.
To concentrate on his job.
Got you. Does he still support you, like, and hit you up and hey, good? You know, obviously he must be proud of you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, we still speak and that. You know, he knows everyone in the RC industry still. He was racing with like Pavidis and Kevin Moore and you know, like them sort of guys.
Okay. Yeah, it might be cool to get. I want to get some of the old school English UK guys on the podcast to talk about their experience, because the UK is so rich in racing. Like people don't realize how much you guys race over there. So even with the bad weather.
Yeah. I mean, no matter what, normally unless it's really bad, but normally it's like they'll race every weekend, you know, without foul, even in the snow.
So you started getting his hand-me-downs from your dad and racing 8 scale. This is around, how old were you when you started like really like seeing, okay, this is pretty fun. I really like 8 scale and I'm going to focus on that.
I think I was about 10. I think I was, around 10, 11. I got into 8 scale. And that's when I started, you know, I was basically, to begin with, I was just there for marshalling. I was so keen I would just marshal for everyone and anyone. You know, and then eventually it turned out that I started racing, you know.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, a lot of kids start out doing it that way as well. And then your story is pretty normal. What I see is like their dad was into it, you get into. I mean, your dad still comes to races with you now sometimes, right?
Yeah. He comes when he can. Obviously, he has a job as well. He's pretty busy, but he comes to as many races as he can and supports me, which is nice.
Yeah, I think JQ done a Facebook Live from Neo last year with your dad and Mick. That was pretty epic. You know, some stories being swapped there. So when you was younger, like 10 years old, who was very influential who did you look up to as a driver in these times? Like when you was coming up?
Yeah, I mean, probably because I was quite close with my dad and my uncle, so I looked up to my uncle quite a lot back in the day. You know, I always used to watch him and because I always remember when I was driving, like I would find it difficult to find the tight lines on the corners, you know, and I'd watch him, and then that's what I'd be trying to do. So when I was younger, even now, you know, you hit the corners, but because you're trying to get the right line. So yeah, I mean, he was pretty one of the guys that I would look up to, because when I was younger, I didn't really know a lot of drivers. I wasn't really that interested in, you know, like major guys, maybe people that are closer to me, you know, like, or a local club and stuff.
Right.
Where we would go regularly, because at that age, you know, I wasn't on the internet looking at all these drivers, you know, in other countries. You know, I was just looking at where I was at that time.
So you had local heroes that you looked up to. That's good. I think that needs to hurry. I think we need to get back to that in RC as well, you know?
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like your own community of where you race, you know?
I agree with that. Your local fast guys who help you out, and you look up to them, and then you want to beat them one day, and when you beat them, like the torch is passed, and you're like, all right, now, here you go. You can beat me now.
Yeah.
It's time for you to take it to the next level. So you're like 10, racing 8 scale. When did you start taking this serious? Like, when did you say, hey, I might be able to be a professional at this? When did that pop into your mind?
I think I was around 13. I went to the first Euros. I won the junior European title. I didn't actually even know until after the race.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it was the first time I've been there, so I didn't know that they did a junior race or classified you within the rankings. So that's when it, I guess, started getting good and a bit more serious. And then I went to, I think it was not long after the Worlds where Mark Pavidis won the World.
2006.
Yeah. So I went to the Kyosho Masters, and I won that against everyone, against Pavidis and Yuichi and Miguel Mateus and that, and I was only 13. So
where was that race to?
Kind of the day. Sorry?
Where was that race to, the Kyosho Masters that you beat all those guys?
Soucy-en-Brie is where the Kyosho Masters in France is always held.
Okay, I've seen that track before. I got it. Yeah, you beat those guys at 13. That must have shocked them.
Yeah. I mean, I still remember it now because it was one of the highlights, and you can ask Mark about it. You know, there was a corner, and I just railed the berm and went round the outside of Mark onto the straight. I still remember doing it now.
I'm gonna have to go see if I can find that on YouTube.
I feel pretty proud about that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go after I get off this, finish talking to you. I'm gonna go find this on YouTube so I can see it. I think I might have seen this race, so that's what.
Yeah, it was pretty wet. It was raining as well. It was a wet race.
Okay, so after 2013, after that race, you this is when you said, okay, I can do this for a living. So what was I guess this leads into my next question. How did you end up becoming a pro in RC?
Well, becoming a pro didn't happen for quite a while after that, really. You know, I carried on doing the best I could at the time. We had some good results. I was still learning a lot. But I think the time where because I had a job as well when I got older.
Yeah, what did you do for a living?
While I was at school.
What type of job did you have?
Sorry?
What type of job do you have? I find these things interesting, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So I qualified. I did plumbing and heating, which I worked with my uncle, Richmond. So it kind of worked out well. He understood like the racing side, so I was able to go to races and still work. So it worked out quite well. And
you learned a skill too. So, you know, there you go.
Yeah, so if anything, you know, in the years to come, who knows? You know, I've got something to fall back on.
That's for sure, man. I think that's important to a lot of people. I mean, a lot of these young guys are putting their full focus on RC, which I get, but you also need to get an education or also get some sort of skill under your belt in case it doesn't work out. Always have a plan B. So,
yeah, exactly. Always. And my mum and dad made that pretty clear when I was younger that I wouldn't, you know, like in the younger years, like you can't be just racing the RC cars. You know, you need to study and you need to get a job. and do things properly, and then, you know, do the racing. But as long as you have something secure, you know.
Yes. So you're racing away. You're at this time. You're probably, I don't know which car you're racing, but you're probably on a 100% deal and maybe getting some travel money to go to these races, or are you still paying for your stuff? And
At what age?
like when you was working out of school, you're working and racing at the same time. Like you're in your transition, you're making your way to actually be a professional.
Yeah, so you know, I was getting help with expenses from companies, but obviously my living was from working. You know, that helped a lot, and my dad helped me out. Obviously, I was quite young; I wasn't earning a lot of money, basic salaries. So my dad was, you know, he helped me out a lot, and which meant we could go to races.
Yeah.
So when I finally became time to be able to be fortunate to make RC racing like a full time was probably when I was about 17, 18. No, maybe later than that, actually. Maybe 19, I think, was when I could stop working a normal job, per se, and just concentrate on the racing.
Yeah.
So it's gone from there, really.
How did that come about?
You know, we had better deals where we was able to just, you know, concentrate. You know, the guys, they wanted me to go to more racing. You know, they committed to me more, invested in me more. So, you know, I was able to go and just practice more, just race, you know, and things like that, which was really nice. Not having to, you know, worry about testing while I was like late at work or something. So I could just do what I had to do when I needed to.
Was it like an instant thing for you? Was you like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to work anymore. Did you have any second thoughts about before you did it? Or did you just say, I'm going to make this work no matter what?
I was like, yes.
I would. But you had to work for it. Like, you know what I mean? And that's good.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I put a lot of time in. My dad put a lot of time and money getting me where I was, and everyone else that supported me. So, you know, it was a great relief to reach that point.
Yeah. Was this when you signed with Kyosho? Because you was with Mugen before you went Kyosho, correct? Or was it Durango?
I was with Durango,
Okay.
and then I went like privateer for a little while, just because I wanted to try all the cars. And then, you know, I actually didn't even think about trying the Kyosho car until I asked a friend to run one of his electric cars, and Mick hit me up and said, do I want to try the ape scale? And I was like, yeah, okay, all right. So we went to Hart's track, and, you know, I was like, oh, it feels really, really good, you know.
Yeah.
It feels fast and easy to drive. So he said, well, I'll get your car ready for the National. You can run at the National if you want. I was like, yeah, okay. And we went out and we nearly won. We nearly won first time out of it. So it was pretty good. Yeah,
that's cool. How about, I know Liam was like your mechanic at some point as well. Liam Galvin, good friend of mine. I talked to him on the regular. How about your time with Liam? Because you guys kind of were like inseparable at one point. I mean, you guys are still friends and whatnot, but he was your mechanic. That's when I met you at Maritime. Lee was with Liam at Maritime.
Yeah. I mean, Liam, you know, he helped me out for quite a while. It worked out pretty good. We went to a lot of races. We went to like Vegas, Kyosho Masters, National Series, you know, quite a few races. But, you know, he had an opportunity to go to JQ. You know, he said Joseph spoke to him and gave him an opportunity to be team manager there. And I said, you know, if that's what you want to do, you know, because I said, I can't offer you that. Right. It's out of my control. So you do what you want to do, man. You know, think what you think's best for yourself. If that's what you want to do, then that's cool.
Yeah, Liam's a good mechanic, man. He's been very influential in helping us out at JQ Racing. You know, and when I would have he would know. He knows like he knows every part number. He knows this. Hey, he's awesome. I was just talking to him a couple of days ago. So I hope he gets back into RC here. It'd be great. I know he's kind of focused on family life right now. So I'm hoping he comes back. Yeah. I tease him all the time. I'm like, man, when you gonna come back and do some racing? So I just want to see him enjoy it again. So what's up, Liam? Come back and race some RC cars. Let's do that. So then you transitioned. Okay, so you signed with Kyosho. about 8 years ago? So that would make it 2011. You signed with Kyosho, more or less, or am I?
11 or 12. Yeah.
Okay. And then when did Mick kind of become your full-time mechanic?
It was when I went from like running Kyosho through the distribution to being like a factory Japan driver, in the factory team. And they organised where like Mick would, because we work I've known Mick for many years. He's seen me since I was a kid, and he was with my uncle, so we've known each other since I grew up, started going racing. So as soon as I signed, he said, well, I can help you out if you want, it's no problem for me. We can go to some races, and, so it just kind of escalated from there, really. And then we just, built up a relationship and just stayed together and went racing together all the time.
Yeah. How was having Mick as your mechanic? I mean, he's really smart. He knows these cars inside out.
There isn't anyone that knows Kyosho car better than Mick.
Oh yeah, I know. When I had him on the podcast, I was like, would you ever leave Kyosho? Never. And then he was just, he's just good. I mean, he came up and he was hanging with us when you guys weren't too busy at DNC. He's got some great stories. It's good for the crack. I love it, man. He's He's a wealth of knowledge, and I think we'll talk about things, your move and whatnot later, but I think that's probably one of the things that you're going to miss as leaving Kyosho, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, for sure. He's a good friend as well as mechanic, but I've learned a lot from Mick over the years, which is normal when you're with someone for a long time. So I've picked up quite a bit of knowledge from him. So it is a shame not to have him, but it is what it is. So I have to just try and do the best I can. Moving on now.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
It's going to be tough, but like anything in life, you move on or you change something up. You change job or whatnot. So you just have to make the most of it. And I feel pretty happy at the moment. So
yeah, I agree, man. We must move on. We must advance. I mean, you guys will still be friends. I'm sure he'll help you. He thinks very highly of you, on the podcast. And I get it, man. And it's probably even for him, it's like, oh, now who do I focus on now as a driver for Kyosho? Maybe he helps Berton out a little bit more now, or I don't know, There will be a place for Mick for sure.
I don't know. I mean, Berton, he has his father that helps him. I mean, Mick now is obviously free to do what he wants. I know he's got his kids as well that want to race, so he's got the opportunity to help them more as well now.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, anything Mick wants to do, he can do.
I agree.
So yeah.
So tell me about life as a pro so far. Is it everything that you thought it would be?
Yeah. I mean, it is good fun. I mean, it's a lot of work.
Yes.
It is a lot of work. It's probably more than a full-time normal job, I guess, because you don't get weekends off. You work during the week. Obviously, you don't have. It's not like a clock in, clock out job.
No, it's not.
If you're not at the track, you're wrenching, ready to go to the track the next time. Or social media. Booking flights, organising for the next race, everything. You need to make sure you've got everything orders, as well as, preparing for the next race.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and people don't. I always say this: you don't understand. Like when you work in this industry, you're kind of never off the clock.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be working on the car, then I'll go to the track, or I'll prepare the car for the next day, and then in the evenings, I'll try and answer all the social media, all the questions, and preparing, releases of whatever on the social media. And then I'll be speaking with teammates, team managers, organising, like I say, travelling and parts and everything like that. So I don't really get done until like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, so you got to plan all that stuff. I didn't even think of all that, like all the stuff that you have to plan, your flights. I mean, I have to do it on a smaller scale for myself. I don't travel nowhere as much as you, but I know from the time I wake up in the morning and turn on my phone to the time I go sleep and turn it off, I'm like on the clock. So it's always something to be done. So I get that. So here's we're leading to my next question. People know that I don't know if you work for Reds or you run or run their obviously you've been with Reds for a long time. People know that your girlfriend or fiance Frederica is the daughter of I don't remember his name, Mr. Rossi. Mario's Mr. Rossi, I'll call him because that's a cool name. That's your fiance. You moved to Italy, and I know that had a lot to do with it. But did actually moving to Italy why did you? Does it help with weather-wise, getting to tracks more? Do you get to practice more in Italy than you did in the UK? Has it helped you moving to Italy so far?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, see, the main reason, I'm engaged to an Italian lady. Mm-hmm. So moving here made more sense. At the same time, the weather is a lot better here. It's opened up more opportunities for me with the local track, which is like less than 5 minutes away. So I'm not, I'm a sponsored driver by Reds, same as other drivers would be. Mm-hmm. I'm not I don't work at the factory. I do testing, but I would test for any other my sponsors. It's just the fact that, I live here and I do come to the factory every day. But I'm not an employee here or anything like that.
Right. I got you. Do you miss being in the UK and racing already? I mean, you just said you go over there quite a lot, but do you miss anything about like racing in the UK on a regular basis or living in the UK on a regular basis?
Sometimes, not always. I mean, I guess like hanging out with like even my friends outside of racing, I don't get to see them as much. Or, like local guys I've known for years at club racing, but I've learned a bit more of the language now, so I can, communicate. I've made new friends over here, so it's I don't have any regrets or anything like that. Like I say, the weather's good and stuff. We got really, really nice tracks over here, so it's good fun, and being able to help Reds guys out where they come up with an idea, I can go and test it within, half an hour and have a result and see what that feels like. With them giving it to me, I can be on the track, quite quickly. Mm-hmm. Or I can do, we can test stuff quite quickly.
How far away are you from the track, your test track?
I can get there in less than 5 minutes in the car.
No way. That's amazing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's pretty close.
Yeah, I think I've seen some videos from Joseph and Max at that track from last year. It's cool to have you on test track.
Yeah, we've just had a new layout built. Oh, yeah? We just had the new track built, yeah. I put a video up of me driving.
Oh, that was, hey, dude, people were freaking out over that. Like, one guy was even saying the video is sped up. I was like, are you insane? Like, come on. Don't be silly. No. Like, dude, this guy's fast. Like, he's got a new car. He's got a pillowball car. He can throw it into corners now and huck it. Like,
yeah, you push. Yeah, you can really push the hell out of it. Just takes it.
Yeah, it was funny when he said that on the post. I was like, come on, man, let's be realistic. How do you, now that you actually, because you work closely with the Rossi family and testing their engines, how do you approach testing with them? I mean, is it an everyday thing for you? Are you at the track every day, or how many times do you go to the track weekly?
During the week, I'll be there like 3 or 4 times, mm-hmm. and then at the weekend as well. So yeah, it's quite a lot. Obviously weather depending, because we do get rain here. It's not sunny all the time. So I mean, we'll have we'll have a new product of some sort, and we'll compare it to the previous model, or someone says, can we have a look at this, kind of doing something like this? So we'll come up with that. We'll go and try it and get a result that way.
Yeah, testing is a complete different thing. I mean, it's a lot of work. You have to take time at the track and remember what you're doing and give feedback. I mean, that's why we test. So people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun, but it's not always fun in games. So, how do you live?
I mean, it's not just me who tests it, because obviously I have a certain driving style.
Mhm.
So other team drivers also will try this stuff,
Okay.
try new products just to see what they think as well.
How far away do you live from that Padova track? I think it's like one of the best facilities I've ever seen in RC.
Yeah,
indoor track.
it's about 1 hour and 45 minutes from me.
Okay. Do you get down there much?
Yeah. Not in the summer, no,
Okay.
because the weather's good, so you might as well go outside. But in the winter, we normally go there. But the only thing that sucks about that place is the additive.
Yeah. It's really slippery there.
And also a lot of people run gyros there.
Yeah.
Because it's legal.
I don't get that.
So it's a bit crazy.
Is it just legal at that track, or
when you go there, you'll come back with like a cold and an illness because of all the fumes of the additive,
No way. That's not good for you. I think,
No, I mean he does try and control it and tell people to go outside, but you do get a few people, putting it on inside.
Yeah. How do they get to run gyros there? I don't get that. Like, why would you even run a gyro? It gives you a false sense of
I don't know.
speed.
It's just something that's been around in Italy for a long time. I mean, even at like nationals, I believe, and it's all legalized because I don't think they know how to fully control it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's loads of different ways of hiding it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have no idea of anything about them, to be honest. I know what they do, but because of coming from the UK, it's completely forbidden. So we never really interested in it.
Yeah, I can see how all this whole gyro talk with all these top guys starts. I mean, I could see it perfectly. I mean, I don't think any of these guys are, but I just don't.
I've been checked for one before.
Yeah,
it's normal.
Well, I mean, the way you drive, dude. I mean, you've like fully punched. Like the stuff you do with a car is amazing. Like honestly, I was telling Mick about this. I think one of the most amazing things I've seen was when 2017 DNC, that step up. And, and you could you was the only guy doing it, and this is all it was like. You would come down, you would scrub and like turn because there was a corner right after, and you would mess up sometimes, but you were still flying. You would scrub.
Yeah. Whip. I mean, I messed that up too many times, which kind of cost me the race.
Yeah, but exactly. If you would have just done it normal, it would have. But you still was fast. I mean, when you got it right, it was like the most amazing thing to see. I thought. I wasn't there personally. I just watched it on video, but I was like, look at this guy. It's insane. Like scrub, whip, just go over the lip and like be perfectly set up for the corner. But then when you got it wrong, you kind of flipped over to the side, I thought it was...
when I got it wrong, I managed to be able to put the brakes on and do like a front flip and land it a couple of times.
Hey, dude, I think even you guys... I don't know. I think like the pro guys even crash awesome. Like, how did they... Like, when they crash, I'm like, how did they pull that off? Like,
you got to crash fast.
Yeah.
You can save a lot of time with a mistake as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not obviously, when I mean this, I mean like if you do make a mistake, you can kind of catch it and get yourself back on the wheels quicker than a marshal getting to you. So you got to be like, as soon as you see yourself rolling, you can see where you can catch the wheel, get yourself back on the wheels and get going again.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, these guys even know how to crash and recover from their crashes. So, whereas me, I would do that. First of all, I wouldn't even be able to do what you're doing. I would like, I'm going to whip this. And next, I'm flying this step up and jumping into the next lane or something because I'm just...
So I get asked a lot, like people ask me, how do you do the whip? Or how do you control the car in the air? I explain it to them. But also, if you have to think about it, it's already too late. It's got to become natural.
Yeah, well, it was definitely natural for you, dude. That was one of the most... I think that's one of the baddest ass things. That's the one thing I remember from that race. Yes, Mayfield won it, but you was in second, and just doing that step up was just epic. I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome.
Thanks.
But I mean, okay, well, I have seen some videos of you in Italy. I think you attended you went with your cars and a couple of other Kyosho guys. I think it was last year, like some event with motorbikes and motorsport cars. It was like an event or a rally or something, and you was driving your car next to him. I don't know what that was.
I went to because there's a guy. His name's Massimo Bianconcini.
Mm-hmm.
Italian rider. He's a freestyle rider, and he runs a team. And he runs Kyosho, friend of Fabrizio Togashi. And they said come down, have a look, and then they said bring a car down. So I did like freestyle with like 20,000 people watching. It was like a big motor event.
Oh yeah.
Show. So I was doing like demonstration, basically like jumping the freestyle jump.
Yeah.
With the cars.
That's pretty cool. People must have liked that. Like people who didn't know what RC was about.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah, we got to get it in front of people, man. That's my whole thing. Like getting RC in front of people. Now we need to get organized racing in front of people.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, that's the main problem. You know, when you go to an RC track, you would never know it was there.
Exactly.
Unless you had the map.
I know.
It's in the middle of nowhere. And I know why they have to do it, because of like the government, the council. They don't like it in certain because of the noise. It's normally people that have got nothing better to do that will complain, instead of, but I mean, because good does come out of this sport, it kept me off the streets and doing bad stuff.
I was about to ask you about that too. Like, I know how life is in England. Like, you know what I mean? And you, like in England, you get caught up in, I mean, not caught up, I wouldn't say that, but it's easy to get caught up in the pub life in England too, Yeah, for sure. In England, we're known for drinking quite a lot. Sorry. So, so it kept me off the streets, I managed to go just to racing a lot instead of going out clubbing I still go and have fun, but I didn't get, too carried away with it and throw a lot of my time away, Yeah, because I talked to Lee Martin and he said he got kind of caught up in the party lifestyle. And that's probably one of the reasons he started being a pro at a late age. And I understand that, man. I've lived in England and it's easy. I mean, it's pubs everywhere. You get caught up, football, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
You gotta, and you did pretty.
I mean, it is tough. And it's quite easily done. You go out with friends, you want to go out drinking, you want to go out having fun, clubbing, or whatever it is. But it's. I did it. I moderated it.
Mm-hmm.
I would never drink. I mean, I still don't drink much at a race meeting, if not anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just, it's not the right thing to do.
Well,
I'll maybe go out during the week now, but not like clubbing. Just out with some friends. I'm a bit older now.
Yeah.
But
you gotta focus. You gotta focus.
Managed to stay away from that.
I can't say that I don't drink at race meetings because I love beer and I like to have one. I like to have a few.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. I mean that's fine. You have one or two with friends socializing, which is pretty normal. It's a social thing. It's pretty it's pretty good to do. You can chill out and have some fun because you got to keep fun in it as well.
Of course.
So yeah, I mean, as long as you don't do it excessively, then I don't see there being a problem.
I can't say that I have not done it excessively too. I'm a little bit older than you. I've had my fair shares of piss ups, as you guys call it. So it's all good. But I mean, I get it. Like it's so easy to do in England. It's because you start drinking at legally at 18, and obviously, it's the same in Bermuda. I was drinking before 18 because it's just normal. I mean, damn, here in the DR, I could send a 10-year-old to go buy me a beer from the Kamado down the road, So yeah, it's crazy here. You should you ought to get the girlfriend and come down for a vacation. It's nice here. It's a good vacation for you.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
What other hobbies or interests do you have outside of RC? When you ain't doing RC, what do you like to follow?
I mean, there's lots of things I'd like to do, but it's having the time to do it. Mm-hmm. I a mountain bike. I try and do some mountain biking, downhill mountain biking when I can. I like doing fishing. I don't get time to do it.
Oh yeah.
I'm really into cars. I like cars, so I watch. I watch Formula One, Rallycross, rally, motocross. I love Supercross, so I watch all that.
Yeah.
I was never allowed a bike. I would love one. I don't know how to ride one, so I probably end up killing myself or breaking loads of bones. But
oh yeah, you didn't get a 50cc when you turned 16 in England?
No, my mum said if that thing comes to the house, you'll burn it. So it never happened.
Yeah.
She was totally against bikes.
Yeah, I don't blame her. I mean, that's why my arms messed up because of a bike, but not because of a bike, because of my excessive drinking and then getting on a bike one night. But I get it, man. Things happen. Bikes are fun until you hit something. So, especially on the road.
Yeah. You don't really have the security of the car.
No, you don't.
It's
not
just
at all.
you versus the road, and normally the road wins.
How about football? You like football? You into that?
Not really. No, I know a lot of people follow it in the UK, but it never really interested me.
Okay, so you just
I used to play a bit of rugby when I was in school. I couldn't get into it because, like with teams, you'd have to play at weekends, but I would rather go racing. So I played for the school during the week and stuff like that. But that was about it.
Yeah, I played for my school in rugby. I enjoyed it. I was weird. I like hitting people and I like getting hit. So I don't know. I'm pretty sadistic like that. So I enjoyed it. People don't realize how fit you have to be to play rugby too. It doesn't stop. So.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on. I want to talk about your 2 European championships because it's only 2 British guys that have actually won the Euro championships. It's yourself and Darren Bloomfield. You actually have 2. He has 1. I watched the race in 2015. It was at Hungaroring. It was really good race. I mean, you was flying. You came up. You won that hands on. The second one, okay, people can say you got a little bit lucky, but there's no luck in racing. In order to finish first, you must first finish. I think Battier broke down, then Ronefalk broke down, and then you won your second one. Why do you think? My question is, because racing's so popular in the UK, why do you think we only have had 2 8-scale European champions and so far?
It's hard to say. I mean, I don't know. Maybe like the younger generation coming through have got other interests now. Obviously, a lot more stuff's on, like PlayStation, Xbox, and things like that, and they don't tend to get out maybe as much as I used to. Because obviously I play on the Xbox stuff, but I'd go to the track quite a lot. So I'm not 100% sure. Without being horrible, I guess. They're quite maybe not as committed at the moment. But or they might. Some people come into speed later in life. You just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even guys like Neil Craig, Lee Martin, they don't have 8-scale Euros. They were fast. Well, they're still fast. I mean, Neil Craig's still badass with a car. He doesn't race much 8-scale. He doesn't even really race much 10-scale that much anymore. It's a shame. I mean, he does race, but not that much. But yeah. I would definitely like to see more UK. I mean, when you won it, I was well chuffed. I was like, yeah, finally got another UK champion. I knew Bloomfield had won it.
Yeah.
And it was like you said, it come back to really seeing like the support from the countries for that race. Okay, we didn't make the main, but we're gonna sit here and we're gonna support our countrymen because we want them to win, and that's why I really enjoy the Euros. So how did
I mean, that first Euros I won was like, it was an amazing feeling. The second one wasn't as good feeling. It was still very good, but winning for the first time is like nothing else. A big race like that. After all the years of trying, and I still remember on like the last lap I got through, and I still remember Neil and Lee and his dad and all the English guys standing in the straight and like praying me on the last lap. It was, and trying to hold it together on that last lap was like really, really difficult.
Oh, I could imagine. Like, don't mess it up now. Don't mess it up now. We're so close. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and they were really good. They were so supportive to me at that race. And, like we went out celebrating and jumping swimming pools. And, it was really, really good day. Such a good time.
I agree. I mean, when you only have one former champion, and that was Bloomfield, before that, it's a big deal, like, because many other countries have multiple guys that have won it, so.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. And then obviously the second time, we got, I believe, so I won in Redovan, and I think it was like Neil and Darren were like 3rd and 4th as well. So we had a really good showing there as well from the UK.
Okay, that's cool. I forgot that they were even in the show there at that race. Big track, Redovan. Big track. You like that track? Looks
huge. Yeah, it was good. They got a new layout now, which looks really, really good.
Yeah.
That was a huge track.
Yeah, it is. I think it's the biggest track I've seen in RC. It looks like a great facility.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a minute lap.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And it's multiple surfaces and big jumps.
Yeah, it's on a hill. So, like, you jump up the hill and then you back down and back up, back down. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's talk about your Worlds experience, because I know this is where I think you have like some of the worst luck I've ever seen in RC at your Worlds. You know,
Yeah.
2012 you was TQ but didn't make the final. What happened? I've Mick told me, I can't remember what happened in 2012 in Argentina where you didn't make the final. Oh, tell me, I think it was a servo or something.
Yeah. So I mean, I know everyone thinks that I broke the servo horn because I was running a plastic servo horn.
Mm-hmm.
But and everyone was like saying to me, I can't believe you were running a plastic servo horn. And then after that, what happened? Everyone said, "Oh, told you," but it wasn't that. It was just we changed the servos out, but we just had a bad luck with one, and it actually melted the circuit boards inside.
No way.
So I was going round in the semi, and I was shouting down to Mick like, "The battery's gone," and he was like, "What? Impossible." And I was like, "Man, this is not right." Because when a battery goes, it's the same sort of feeling, like you would turn and then the car would like wait and then slowly turn in.
Mm-hmm.
That was the feeling I got. And I was like, oh no. And then I come down the straight, I turned, like I had to adjust. So I turn in like, I don't know, like 3 meters before the corner. I'd have to make the turn, and then again to try and get it around. And then eventually I just lost everything when I went over the jumps. Just lost everything. Obviously, back in the day, like TQ would have gone straight in, so we wouldn't. At least we would have been in, but we could have had the same issue.
Mm-hmm.
Or nowadays, it's like LCQ, which we never had. So it just sucked.
I definitely think TQ should go right through. And people would say, "Oh, well, they don't get that track time of the semi," but like TQ in the Worlds, like that's a big thing. I think you should go right through, and then you get
I think so.
And everybody behind you has to start behind you. I think it should be worth something, because really, let's be realistic. When you TQ the Worlds, you don't really TQ it because you don't start on first.
Yeah.
At first,
Yeah. Because if you go out and you don't have a very good semi, or your weather conditions change between the two semis, you could end up starting 7th on the grid.
Or you don't make it, like what happened to you, and it's happened to other people as well. So it's nothing. I don't think it's like, why have all that qualifying if you don't like let the TQ go to. If I don't know, I think I really hope they get back to it. I like the LCQ part of it. I like that, but they need to definitely go back to letting the TQ go right through. And if you want track time, then they have a longer practice or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's a big deal. Like getting TQ at a World. So it'll be nice. You can just, because then you can go out, like, because I used to do it where like TQ could practice in both semi practices.
Mm-hmm.
So you get like the 20-minute running.
Okay.
And then you can just go straight into the main. So if they could do something, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think they should revise that rule. Listening, IFMAR, revise the rule. TQ goes right through. No Name RC podcast says it first.
Yeah, I mean, it's all changed now, like with the LCQs. I mean, Ongara at the Euros, he broke in the semi, but he was lucky enough to have the LCQ and make it in.
Oh, that was pretty amazing.
Yeah. So they're lucky that it's all like changed around now. So, it's good and bad. It depends who you ask. Everyone has their own opinion on it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see how things go. So 2014 in Italy. I'm not sure what happened there with you. Did you not make I don't think you made the final there as well, right?
Yeah, no, I just missed out on the final. I think I was suffering from dehydration. I don't think I drank enough. And like I had like a massive cramp in my leg while I was driving around.
No way.
And I collapsed on the rostrum.
Yeah.
But I was like, my left leg like cramped up, and Dallas at the time had to hold me while I was driving to finish the race.
Mm-hmm.
I was in like 7th, so I just missed the spot,
Yeah.
But that was a weird one, yeah.
And anybody who has that cramps in their legs, that's one painful, it's so painful. I don't even know how you finish driving.
I couldn't stop my leg from like the knee bending. I couldn't physically stop. So I fell to one side onto Cody King, who was standing next to me. And then Dallas come and like held me, and so I could kind of like rest my arms on the driver's stand and try and just drive around like one leg like a flamingo, I guess.
I never knew that. That's insane. I never knew that. I don't know how I didn't know that about what happened to you at the Worlds. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't tend to say it too much,
right?
But Because oh yeah, he's just making excuses up because he didn't make the main, you know. So,
oh man, if I would have got a cramp on my leg, if I would have got a cramp on my leg, they would have had to get a forklift up there to get me off that driver's stand. No way, because those things hurt. Get too old for that stuff. So that was a shame. Again, bad luck there. Nothing out of, like, kind of just out of your hands. Bad luck. 2016, you made the final. That's your first final, right? 2016, or did you make one?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
that was the first one.
And that track was brutal, and you finished outside the top 5. I think it was just. I mean, David won.
Yeah, my tires went. I went too soft on the tire, because we just missed TQ by 1 point over Jared, and then we went into the finals, and the final was at night compared to where we was running all the time in the day in the hot temperatures, so we wasn't sure on what the track condition was kind of doing, and we went to like slightly soft the tire. I had a big mistake at the start, and then I caught back up to second, I think. And then my tyres, after like 20 minutes, just went, and I just was like skating around all over the place. I just dropped down.
Mm-hmm. That track was difficult anyway.
Bad choice, really.
That track was really difficult. I mean, it was rough. It had that fluff on the outside. It had that small line that you had to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was similar, like the rough. I would say this year's DNC and that track had a lot of similarities. Except
yeah. But I think DNC was a bit worse because of the triples you had to make and stuff like that, and I think the track was blown out a bit more than the Worlds.
So this leads up to last year in Australia. You was in the LCQ. You didn't make it to the semi. What happened to you in Australia, man? Just couldn't.
I mean, we were struggling to find the right setup. I was trying all sorts of things to try and get the way I liked it. I was struggling, probably a bit of driver issue as well, maybe. Combination of both. In the LCQ, we sat down and said, come on, let's just try this, let's go for it. And it was really good. But unfortunately, it was a little too late.
In the LCQ, you came around.
I was in second behind Rivkin. We both hit the jump, but his car kind of like did like a step up and mine jumped more forward. And when he come down, he kind of waffle stomped me and we both went off the track. It was just one of them things, it wasn't on purpose. It just bad luck. So we got back on the track and then I got like wiped out by Qualo, which caused like a huge pile up. I think I dropped to like last.
I'm not surprised there, but anyway, continue.
Yeah, and then it just, like when they're in a pack, I just like where he hit me, I just got collected by another car, one after another. So then I had to get all the way back up and I just missed out,
Yeah. How, I know that a lot of this is bad luck. How do you think, what are you going to, now we'll get onto this, but you're starting fresh. How do you think you can stamp out this bad luck and change these results that you're having at the Worlds? Because you can do it. You're still got a lot of life left in you. You're still young. You got a few more Worlds left.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to try and do more testing, more of everything I can, to be better. I mean, bad luck only lasts for so long. Then it's just like bad prep or bad driving, So we just, doing everything better than before.
Yeah,
as much as I can.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's just some things that just happen, man. You can't control them. I get that too. That's racing. It's called racing, not winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like you need everything to be right and only one thing to be wrong.
Yeah.
And then it's done.
Cool. Well, I was excited. I was a bit upset that you didn't make it to the DNC in 2018, especially after your awesome performance the year before. You didn't come to that, but I was excited to see you come to this year's race in 2019 because I wanted to see you drive in person. You and Angaro are two guys I wanted to see drive in person because you guys so punched with the stick radios.
Yeah.
But what a lot of people don't realize is that you actually won the Montpellier race 2 weeks before that. And that's a really big race in France. And if you guys haven't checked out that track, it's a permanent track. It's never changed, but it offers some of the best racing I've ever seen in RC. I mean, okay, yes, Angaro had a failure near the end, but then you and who was it? You and Canas battled it out to the end, I think.
Canis and Robert and Burton, we was like battling for pretty much the whole race.
Yeah, you wasn't gifted that. Like, I mean, yes, Angaro, he broke down, but I mean, you had to fight to the end to win that. And I was like, we coming in on a high. And then, you know, DNC, you had some issues. I mean, we're talking about a completely different track now. You know, DNC 2019 was way different than Montpellier. But give us some of your positives and negatives from DNC this year.
I mean, positives were for sure meeting new guys, new friends, new teammates there. You know, I had a really, really good time, even seeing old friends, you know, like Paul King, Cody and that, hanging out was a lot of fun. And other people as well. You know, we had some pretty good, I mean, we got in the final, you know, still a pretty good result.
Yes.
Not where we wanted. Been a really tough track, you know. We struggled on setup, new car, and them kind of conditions. So we was learning a lot as we was going, really. So yeah, definitely the time I had a really good time there. Racing didn't end up the way we wanted it to, but you know, you can't win everything.
No, and I think you had another bad luck. Some more bad luck happened to you when the marshal cut your car off. You know?
Yeah. So, like normally you'd like flip the car from the side or grab the wing and flip it over, but the marshal, like with big chunky gloves on, just picked my car with two hands under the chassis, just before the line, and you know, just cut the car immediately, and that was it. You know, right before the loops, so I lost a bunch of laps.
There's no coming back on that track, man. I mean, that track was hard. When you see like guys of quality of you and these guys who are in that main making making mistakes that they make, you know that track's difficult. You know, it was just
I mean, like, even when you want to go and watch someone say, oh, you know, normally say, oh, his car looks really good, or you know, look where he's going, but everyone's car looked broken going around the track.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah,
but it was good. It was
no one looked fantastic.
Well, Mayfield did. He kind of went fantastic, but he's used to that type of stuff.
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, I can't see him because I was in the race, but you know, even like the B finals, you know, just rough. You never catch a break.
No, you can't. You couldn't relax. You had to, and the track actually changed so much during the race. Like, you know, the holes got bigger. Couldn't do that line. You know, it was. People don't understand like how much that track changed even during the finals. So it's hard to do, and the lighting. You know, I know the lighting wasn't the best, but I mean, like I said earlier, we were lucky to even have a race. So kudos to those guys for even.
Yeah, the lighting is great. I mean, I wear glasses when I race, so getting like the glares off the lights is not the best, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. I mean, it's the same for everybody. So you go home. You go home back to Italy. You announce that you're coming to Silver State, and let's be realistic. You know, a lot of people want to know about this, and I know we just touched on it briefly. It was a big surprise to see that you and Kyosho separated. I know.
Yep.
I know it's you said everybody has their opinions and whatnot, but if you just want to say, hey, I just, you know, tell us. You don't have to tell us what happened, but just say, hey, this is what happened, and that's how it went. Like, you know. This is how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, you know, I just decided, you know, there was nothing personal, you know, I really got on well with the guys. I decided to have a change up. A lot of people do it. And it was time for me to, you know, I needed a change of something in my life.
Yeah.
Like a fresh start, you know, so I decided to, and SWorks offered me a great opportunity, so I took it, and I am where I am now. Yeah,
I mean, and it's funny because when I saw the news, it was like people messaging me right away, this is JQ's time to sign Elliott Boots, and I'm like, yeah, that isn't going to happen, you know, because I know it's just not going to happen. Yeah. And the first thing I said, honestly, the first thing I thought was HB. I was like, HB, I can see it, and I was wrecking my brain trying to think who you would go to. And HB was the first company to come in my mind. And then like SWorks, I was like, I bet you SWorks does it. I mean, they've signed a lot of drivers. They have Walanka, Newman, Canas, Cavallari, and you. So that's a pretty strong 5-man team that they have. So
yeah.
I was like, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's cool. No, I'm saying no. It's good to, have the team drivers like this because we can work with one another. We've all got a lot of experience, all and coming from different backgrounds as well.
Yes.
All driving slightly different cars in the past, so you can all bring that to the table. I really wanted a pivot ball car to drive that now.
Yeah.
But the way I drive, maybe back in the day they weren't as quick, but they've kind of developed now.
Yeah.
And also the way the tracks are now. All right, DNC is another thing, but normally in Europe now and in most tracks, they're very manicured layouts where you have a problem with the track, they kind of fix it. So and I think maybe I've changed over the years the way I want the car to feel. And I wanted to try something like that, and at the moment I'm loving it.
So your decision was you wanted to go pivot ball, so there was no other options. Like when you decided, well, whatever happened with Kyosho, you're like, I want to drive a pivot ball car.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of put it to Kyosho a few times, but it's not their style, which can be a bit frustrating, but it's always been that way, and that's the way it is. So I wanted to give myself a different opportunity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we said, we saw that video of you with practicing with the SWorks, and it definitely looks like it's suiting you right away. I mean, it's going to be exciting to see what happens. I mean, what's your kind of role at SWorks now? I mean, like they hired Cav. I don't think. I mean, he's gonna. I think Cav's going to be focused more on 10 scale this year than 8 scale because it's a world year. So does that like do you now become the main man at SWorks? I would say. I mean, everybody's equal, but obviously, you have two European championships, and you've been to the States more than most of those guys, except Jorn. He's been to quite a few races in the States. Do you see yourself?
Yeah, I think I'm probably more 8 scale related in the SWorks team. Me and Canas, obviously, I will be running 1/10 as well. I'll be doing like some EOS, and I'll be doing the nationals and things like that, Euros and Worlds. So I still will be attending them. Obviously, those guys, they run a separate manufacturer in 1/10 category. So, I mean, by no means am I like number one driver because it's not ranked like that. But, I just want to try and do the best for the team and for myself, and just get the best results I can by putting in, as much effort as I can. And it's good because they develop a lot, and it's nice, a bit of a change up from before. So it's a good fresh start for me.
Yeah, I think SWorks is definitely dedicated to racing.
For sure. They
are big.
And even just over the short time I've been there, the commitment they're showing is really, really great.
Yeah, they're part of RCGP. We'll touch on that in a bit, but man, they have an awesome lineup. So, and you racing more 10 scale is pretty good too. I mean, it's the World Years, and they need that. Walanka's a good 10 scale racer. Newman, does he run SWorks 10 scale as well?
No, I think he runs Schumacher.
Oh, right. Okay, so it's you and Walanka that probably will head up the European 10 scale charge then. That's good.
Yeah.
Walanka's a good driver too. He's a very underrated driver.
Yeah,
very underrated. So.
Yeah. He's I've had arguments with him in the past. It's all good now. Even before I joined with SWorks, we kind of cleared the air.
Yeah.
I've had arguments with lots of people. Everyone has arguments, and but we're trying to just say, look, we've done that. Let's move on. Clear the air. It's all sorted. It's fine. No problem.
Were there any options besides SWorks before you decided to go to them, or was that like the plan right off the bat?
It was the plan really. I spoke to them, and I know they wanted someone on the team, another person. And like I say, they offered me this, amazing opportunity to be on the team, which I'm grateful for immensely. So, it just kind of went from there, really. I think people kind of underestimate them, being the name SWorks. They're not like Kyosho or Mugen, them big names per se. But a little while ago, a friend of mine had a car, and I stood there and I looked at it, and and I was like, wow, it's really good. People don't understand it, but if you actually take a step back and just have a look at the quality of the products, it's really good. And I think they're just underrated.
Yeah.
But
they're really big
I think
in
we
Europe.
can show everyone now that they're there, and we're here to not mess around.
Yeah, they aren't there to mess around. The guy Max, he's I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm gonna have him. Hopefully, I'll get him on the RCGP podcast that I do. He's really into racing. I watched the video yesterday that dropped for RCGP. You talked on it about this series and whatnot. So being as we're on that, we might as well get into the SWorks is fully dedicated to this RCGP thing, which is good. They were one of the first. HB was the first, and I think SWorks came on board. And I think this is gonna be RC history in the making here. And now you kind of gotta be a part of it. I don't know if you're gonna be racing, what races you're gonna be racing or whatnot, because I know you're confirmed for Silver State, and that's the same weekend as the first round of RCGP. I mean, I hope you go to Manila, because I think that track's gonna be for some good racing for yourself. But are you looking forward to this? I know this is something that a lot of the top guys want, an actual series that determines a winner. Are you looking forward to participate in RCGP?
Obviously in previous team, we wasn't interested or into the series. I can see good and bad points of it. I think it would be really great if we could actually, because I spoke to Joseph way before they all got announced, coming up with the ideas. He put it to me, what did I think? At the time, he was going to get these races at real events like motocross events or rally events where there's lots of spectators, which would have been really great. Being another series, I don't know. We'll have to just see. I mean, it's the first of its kind, so we have to kind of just see how it goes.
There is no other series except EOS but focus on that. I do know that there is plans to put one of these races alongside a motocross race. I know that's the ultimate plan. This can be good because that's the demographic of people we need to hit to get into this hobby, into scale motorsports. Definitely. Scale motorsports, I call it now. Thanks, Nick Damon. He gave me that. He calls it Nick. I have interviewed him for the RCGP podcast, and he said, "I don't call it racing toy cars. I call it scale motorsports." And it is. He's right. What we do is it's not really toys. I mean, yes, we have fun, but it's a lot of work that goes into this.
Oh, and we still go for the same things as real drivers will. Yeah. I mean, you can change the setup on these cars as much as you can a real car, if not more. And the time you have to put in, you train at the track, not so much your fitness, but your mental fitness and training and your skill level, the commitment you have to put in. It's still a lot of work.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. I agree there. I'm excited about it. I'm excited that you're going to be a part of it. As soon as I saw that you was going to SWorks, or I had found out, I found out these things through the grapevine that you was going to SWorks. I was like, this is good. This is good. Another fast driver to race RCGP. And I think it's going to be great. And you're going to be a big part of it, I think, for SWorks. So it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I look forward to it. New team, new teammates. New car, so yeah. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm very pumped to get to the first race and get out and show what we can do with it.
Not to mention, you look dialed already, so I can't.
Yeah, I mean, that was like a standard car out the box. I put my kind of setup idea on it. I took a few setup sheets from the other drivers, but kind of did my own and went out, and it felt good straight away.
Yeah. It looked like you had been driving it for all this time. So it's pretty cool, man. I'm excited to see what you keep up the social media thing. It's important too. I think it's important that you keep up the social media side of this and help build yourself as a brand, So keep doing that, man. I like that stuff, and people like it. So keep up the good work. So
maybe I'm going to try and start doing some more tech tip videos and stuff like that, because going to the track, a lot of people said, like, oh, this video you done or that kind of video is really helpful. So maybe we can do some more like that. So
it's not easy. It's a lot of work too. So, that's just more stuff we have to do. So, all right. So we got 2019 and beyond. What can the RC world expect from you? What are your goals and your plans for 2019, 2020? What are you looking to do? I
want to promote the brand as much as possible for SWorks. I want to do the best of myself. I want to get great results. Build new relationships up. Like any driver, I want to win as much as I can. I want to win big races. Want to win more Euros and world titles, national titles. I wouldn't be who I am if I said I wouldn't want to win anything. I want to win as much as I can, and I feel very confident with the new car already. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I like that answer. How much longer do you think you could be competitive? You're 26. This is I don't know. I have a argument against that. People say once you hit like 35, it's all downhill. But then I look at guys like Drake. He's still okay. Maybe he's not super competitive, but he can still make a main.
Everyone's different. I think everyone's different. Some people really just like a certain point in their life where they say, oh, they just don't want to do it anymore, or they've got other commitments, or they just love to do it still. And the mentality is still there to like want to win and be competitive. So everyone's kind of different. Like some people are different when they become fast. Some people like bloom later than others.
Yeah. Do you feel like being close with the Rossi family? Obviously, your fiance is. I don't know if she races or if she drives. I don't know. No.
Best not to.
Yeah, but she does enjoy the racing. She comes to the tracks, and I see.
Yeah. So that's she very. It's great for me because she's very supportive and she understands the racing a lot. So it's a lot easier for me.
Yes, I know because I have my wife. She doesn't understand why I do what I do. I said you will when my son gets into it or our daughter. So. Just relax. So it's much easier when you're.
What did she say? Oh no.
Yeah, it's much easier when your significant other is understands what you're doing, can get into it a little bit, and support you because it's a lot of work, a lot of time away from them, and people don't see that. I always say people don't see that side of RC, the time away from your family. So it's pretty good. How about life after RC? What do you see yourself doing after RC? Would you like to work in the industry?
I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. Yeah. Who knows how long nitro racing is going to be around for? Look what they're doing with emissions with real cars. You just don't know what the government's going to say or do or whatnot. So yeah, we have to just kind of see what happens. Like I say, I've got that job to fall qualification to fall back on if need be. But maybe I'll do something else. Maybe I'd quite like to open up maybe a bar of some sort like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not really looking that far ahead at the moment. I kind of like look at the moment.
Yeah, I don't blame you, dude. You're young. You're living life. It's a dream. It's a good dream. You're a professional racer doing something you love. I would just focus on that and kicking ass, man. Because you can do it. I believe you can do it. So, yeah, pretty cool.
The only one thing I would really like to do, maybe after RC racing, would be to have be like a dealership selling rare exotic cars.
Oh yeah.
It'd probably never happen.
Yeah,
but it's something to think about.
Well, you probably never thought you'd be a professional RC car racer either. In a
you just don't know what's going to happen.
In a sport that only so many people make a living off of this, you are one of them. So it's hey, if you can make it in RC,
I'm very lucky and I really appreciate it.
But if you can make it in RC, I think you can make your other passions come true as well. You just gotta, if that's what you want to do, you work towards it, man. It'd be a good retirement. You get to drive around in cool old cars, put the top down, and then have fun. Drive around the Italian hillsides or countrysides and just
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because Italy's awesome. I've never been there. I gotta get there one day. All right.
Yeah, you'd love it. You'd love it.
I'm sure. I've got to get to Europe. Period. Just been to England, so Got to get over to across the channel. Well, I that's pretty much all I have to talk about on the podcast. We do have some viewer questions that popped up on our Facebook page. And then we have to go into the fastraceshop.com 10 questions, 10-second segment. So I'm going to ask you some of the questions that people asked her. Obviously, I have James Burgess. He says, why did you leave Kyosho? We already covered that. Damon Young, he's out there in California. He's out there in California, and I must have walked across him 20 times, and he never introduced himself at DNC. He says, did you get an offer from HB Racing? If so, why did you decide to go in a different direction? Your driving style in that car would have been a force. He's an HB guy. So, you know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. You kind of covered that.
I spoke with a few guys and that, but, you know, I went with the way that I felt was good for me. So, yeah, that's just basically the way it went. You know, some things just don't work out in other directions. So this was the best opportunity for me. And I'm happy with the commitment and opportunity that I've got.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Joe Zaire Jr., he always has hard questions. Did you have any input on the MP10? It seems like a lot of top drivers don't have a lot to do with car development anymore.
I didn't have any input in the 10.
Okay.
It's only developed by Yuichi.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of get the cars just before customers do, really.
Yeah.
We're shown, obviously, development stages of the car, but nothing's tested by any of us at the moment. Okay. I think it's been that way for many years.
Okay. Connie Swenson, he asked, will you be attending RCGP now that SWorks is on board? You answered that already. I'm not even going to ask Jeff Keaton's question because he's making a joke. He goes, when you switch to OS engines, will you still date Federica? And then Richard in front goes, I hope so. They're engaged. Joey Carlson says, why was SWorks a good fit coming from Kyosho? It seems like their 10 scale off-road cars are Kyosho-esque. So maybe that, I don't know.
No, I mean, I wasn't looking at it in that kind of way. Predominantly it's 1/8 scale that I concentrate on.
Mm-hmm.
But I know SWorks, you know, we're developing, so there's new things coming, and you know they're always moving forward. So I'm not having any worries for the future of 10 scale or even 8 scale. You know, they work hard and commitment's great.
Okay, well, you know, another question, because obviously you're one of the lucky guys that has a beautiful girlfriend that's into RC. Jeff Miles goes, ask him if he's ever going to marry Frederica. They've been engaged for a long time. So
yeah, I will do eventually.
I need
the money first.
Yeah, I don't blame you, dude. Marry that girl. Give her the wedding that she wants. You know, it's not. I get it. And then Neil Thompson. This is actually a good question. He goes, who's going to be your pit man for 2019? And he says, do you know who Mick will pit for?
I don't know Mick's plans. I'm sure he will find himself something to do to keep him busy. Like I say, with his children who like racing, so he'll spend more time with them, I guess. And he'll help out anyone on the team like he always does. As far as mechanic for myself, I'll be, like I said, I've learned a lot over the years, so I will be working on the cars myself, and then SWorks will support me at big races with guys that work for SWorks and mechanics supplied by them. So there's not any problems there.
That's good. I told you, man, they're into racing, man. They're taking this racing thing serious. They want to step it up, and that's good. We need that in the hobby,
they're not messing around.
We need that in the industry, man. We need it, and then obviously that attracts new people, you know, when they see that we're doing things right and professionally. Cool. That's actually, I did have one more question. It was like an Instagram question. I got to figure out how I can find it. Oh man, if I can't find it, we can't do it. Let's see. We have a few Instagram questions. He says, I don't know his name, but he says, having already driven the SWorks car, how does it differ from your previous car? What traits of the new car do you think will help with your driving style? We kind of covered that.
Obviously, the SWorks is a pivot ball car. I'm a very hard driver, and the car, testing it allows me to push the car. It's has more stability, a lot easier to drive for the way I am, for the way I drive, and I just feel very comfortable with it straight away. It doesn't do anything strange, and it's the quality's there in the car as well, but just driving it, just straight away, the comfortability of going around the track, feels really, really good.
Yeah. And then Rico Maloney, I don't know who these guys are. They follow us on Instagram. He goes, "What do you think is the issue with the handling on the Kyosho car?" Tebow said a couple of things, but I would like to listen to your opinion. You can answer that if you want. That's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, because we don't get to do much testing, and I was in the early stages of running the car, so we were still trying to find the right setup. There's a couple of things that they probably need to change, but maybe I'm not the right person to say it. So probably be asking one of the current drivers, like CJ,
who's a great talent, dude.
Yeah,
that kid's gonna be fast. CJ is gonna be fast.
Yeah, for sure. They're great. Him and his dad as well. They're good people. So yeah, there's a few things they need to look at. Unfortunately, drivers don't tend to get much say in what they want to do. So yeah, I mean that's the only downside there. But they've been going for a long time, so I guess they will continue as they are and do what they got to do.
Yep, I get that. Well, that's all the questions we have from our viewers. I want to thank you for answering. I want to thank the viewers for submitting them. I try my best. Sometimes I forget them. So now we're going to go into the fastraceshop.com 10 questions, 10-second segment.
Now we go into the Fast Race 10 questions in 10 seconds segment. Fast Race is a world champion option parts brand made in Italy. Fast Race drivers include Davide Ongaro and Riccardo Berton, and they run the innovative performance enhancing parts that Fast Race makes for most 1/8 buggies, including the world famous honeycomb shock bladders and caps. Go to fastraceshop.com and type in Lefty 2019 to get 10% off your purchase now.
So, hey, Elliot, welcome to the fastraceshop.com 10 questions, 10 seconds segment. Are you ready for this?
I think so.
Okay. It's not going to be that bad. Trust me. All right. Question number 1. If you wasn't racing RC cars, what would you be doing?
Selling exotic race cars.
Okay. Number 2. Who is your biggest rival?
Ongaro.
Okay. Number 3, your favorite.
But in the sense of driving, not like a hatred between each other.
Oh, I get that. Like you don't like. I get it. Everybody has the guy they don't want to lose to, or they know that when he shows up to the track, it's gonna be on, And he's definitely that fast. Okay. Number 3, what is your favorite beer?
Peroni.
Yeah, that's a good beer. I would agree with you there. Very skunky flavor. I like it too. Got into that when I was in the UK. Okay, number 4. Life in Italy is?
Great.
Number 5. Would you ever race using a wheel radio?
Yes.
Now, that brings me to a story because Joseph always brags about this. And being as you aren't with Kyosho no more, we can talk about it. He says after the Euros in Sweden, you drove his car with his radio and stuff, and you was doing pretty good with it. Is that true? He was all excited about that.
Yeah, I drove his car. I could drive wheel. It's not a problem.
How do you feel? How did you feel? How did you like the JQ car? It's better now than it was then. Actually, he did pretty good that Euros. He actually made the finals. So.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. He didn't have a lot of steering for what I wanted. But like you say, it's different now. But it felt not too bad considering with the wheel and that. So
why did you start with stick? Was it just what you started with and just never switched over to?
No,
wheel?
I started with a wheel.
Okay.
I started with wheel for like 3 or 4 years, and then I had to go with my dad's car, and then it was with the stick radio. I said, "Oh, you're driving pretty good." So then I changed over to sticks, and it kind of went from there.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty amazing. I haven't tried it in so long. I did it when I was younger and had little Radio Shack cars, but yeah, I don't know if I could do stick at all. Okay, number 6. What's up with that owl tattoo, man?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had an older tattoo underneath it.
Yeah, I remember that
and
one.
I wanted something bigger. And I just like one, you know. I liked it, so I went and got it.
A big owl on your neck.
There's not like a major story behind it or anything.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's an owl. I never would have thought of it, but hey, each I got a bunch of tattoos too. I love them. Okay, number 7. Best track you've ever raced on.
Oh, that's a hard one. Best track I've ever raced on. Oh, that's really, really tough. I've driven on a lot of tracks.
Yeah.
A lot of good tracks as well. I'd probably say Asti was a good track.
Mm-hmm. They just had a race there.
Yeah. Obviously, I drove on the older layout. That was a good track. Oh man, that's a tough one. And probably Redovan as well.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So between them two, I'd say.
All right. Number 8. I know you're not really into these type of sports, but football, cricket, or rugby, and why? Which one of those do you prefer?
Rugby.
Okay. And why? Because you played it in school? Just.
Yeah, I used to play it in school. I mean, football's played by girls.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what?
Cricket's boring.
What? No way. Cricket's
rugby,
awesome.
It's a bit more serious.
I love cricket, dude. What? You got to come to back home in Bermuda.
I haven't got a week to watch one game though.
No, but 2020 is so much better now. Like when they do 20 overs, it's so exciting. We where I come from in Bermuda, like we play a county game that's been going on for like 100 years, and my part of where I come from in Bermuda, like my neighborhood is like one of the better teams in cricket. So I grew up watching that and watching these county games every year. So it's a good thing. I mean, you start drinking at like 7 a.m. and don't stop. So sometimes
we've played we had a game we used to play. It was like a golf drinking game. I don't know if you ever played that.
Well, I think anything with golf has got drinking in it. If you're playing with your buddies. Hello.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
It's not actually golf. Playing the game. It's drinking to the golf game.
Oh.
So you go around the pubs, and you have like a par 1, a par 2. How it changes. So if it's a par 1, you drink 1 beer there, and then you all get dressed up in like old-fashioned golf clothes. Mm-hmm. And then you go around to all the pubs, and it's a par 14. You have to have 14 drinks, you know.
Jeez.
So it's
no. I would pass out. I could do that when I was younger. I can't do it now.
Yeah, I don't do that.
All right. So, number 9, fish and chips or Sunday roast?
That sucks. I love both.
Really?
Probably roast.
Yeah, the roast is good. There's Yorkshire. Oh, I love me a Yorkshire pudding. Oh, so good.
But not just any roast, you know. It has to be like my mum or my dad's, you know.
Yeah.
It's a bit personal.
Yeah, I bet.
The way you like stuff.
Yeah. Does your mom make good Yorkshire puddings?
Yeah, she makes really good roast potatoes.
Oh, yeah. Lovely. I don't blame you. All right, this is actually another food question, and it's mostly due to England when I was there. Brown sauce or ketchup? This is number 10.
Ketchup.
Really? Over brown sauce?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love brown sauce on everything.
I like both, but you know, sometimes I have a bacon sandwich with brown sauce, sometimes I have ketchup, you know. So, yeah. But majority of the time it's ketchup.
Yeah, just for the people that know what brown sauce is, it's like I think it's like A1 steak sauce. I think almost something similar.
It's HP.
Yeah,
is the official. You call it any HP sauce or brown sauce.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean it's its own thing really. If you haven't tried it, you need to try it.
Yeah, it's like you would get that. They will ask you if you want ketchup or brown sauce, and it comes in little packages, and it makes everything taste good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we have for. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was saying it has to be either HP brown sauce or Heinz ketchup.
Yeah,
that's it.
Oh, okay, cool. So you like roast and you like ketchup. Do you put ketchup on your roast? I don't think so.
No.
I think your mom would like slap you if you did that. Don't you?
Oh, for sure.
All right. I want to say thank you for participating in the fastraceshop.com 10 questions 10 seconds segment. Remember, guys, go to fastraceshop.com, type in Lefty 2019 in all caps, and get 10% off your order. Elliot, thank you for coming onto the podcast. I know you're busy and we kind of missed times and we're trying to get this done, but I'm glad you came on. I think the RC world gets to see a different side of you, which is awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations on getting onto, if you're a new team on SWorks, you seem to have the fire. That's good. Sometimes change is different and it creates a spark. And I'm looking for big things from you, man. And hopefully we see you at some of these RCGP races. Yeah. Would you like to say thanks to anybody before we leave?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So I want to say thanks to everyone that follows me and all the support from my family and that, and especially, for what all Mick's done for me over the years, because I didn't really touch on it too much, but, he invested a lot of time in me and, he came with me everywhere and, he'll be missed for sure.
Yes.
But, I wish him all the best and we'll still speak and see each other at races. So nothing changes in our friendship. We just won't be working together, that's all. But, all the best for him.
That's great, man, because we have to remember, yes, we're doing this as a sport, or you're doing it as a profession, but we also make a lot of friends along the way. So that's something that money can't buy.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, dude. Well, thank you. Good luck at your UK Nationals here in a couple of weeks and at DXR. DXR looks like it's going to be exciting. I'll be watching that on RC Racing TV. And hopefully, I don't know, we see you in Manila, or if you go to Silver State, I'll still be watching you. And hey, man, go out there and kick some ass, man, because I know you can do it. And I think you're one of the fastest guys to touch radio control. So let's make that happen.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man. I'm going to show them what we can do.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right, man. Well, you have a good day, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
We are now at that point of the show where you should fasten those seatbelts and put your big boy pants on.
Whoa. Things are about to get serious.
It's time for the JQ Racing Rant.
So, hey everybody, welcome to the JQ Racing Rant, and this week we have a special guest. We kind of took him off the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment and brought him over to the rant because he said he had something to say. How you doing, Jeff?
I am doing fan-freaking-tastic once again.
And Joseph wants to rant because he actually remembers what he was going to rant about last week when he had his opportunity. So he gets a second chance. Is that you should be happy about that, Joseph, that I'm giving you a second chance to rant.
Well, I'm giving myself a second opportunity because technically I'm your boss, even though this is your podcast.
Yeah, you're my boss. Yeah, I'm your boss, but I'm still going to kick you in the nuts the next time I see you.
Yeah.
All right. My problem is Joseph's rants have not been very good lately.
I know. I'm giving him the opportunity to rant last week, and he actually forgot. So, I don't know. Sign of age, maybe?
They kind of suck. That's why that is one of the reasons why I wanted to come on, because I needed to amp up his game. And I know there's only like 2 people on the planet that can really, really amp his game up, and I'm one of them. So I'm here to make Joseph a better ranter.
Oh, God. Well,
who's the other one?
Yeah, who's the other one?
Tigani. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was funny. That was funny at DNC when Tigani wigged out. Oh, I still remember it too. It's so funny. The hair was going, the hands were going. Oh, it was epic. So, as you guys know, this is our rant and this is our opinions. And hey, if you guys don't like them, that's cool too. But it's just things that we observe in the RC community. And I guess we're gonna make this like the PG-13 version of the podcast. So, with that said,
I need some ground rules here.
Well,
like, what am I allowed to? I don't want to like create too much controversy on your well-groomed podcast here.
Oh no, we're here to say the truth. I mean, that's how I look at it. I mean, everybody has their opinions on how things should be different, So I'm good with that. I'm just more worried about we're getting kids and stuff, so we can let a few F-bombs go, but not too much. I know I can't censor Joseph, and I know you, but, let's do it, man. I say it's the PG version of, PG-13 side of the...
Let's go at least PG-13, if not NC-17.
Well, yeah, there we go. I don't even know how they... I haven't been to movies in so long, I don't even know how they regulate them anymore. So... I don't know. Maybe, hey, I don't know. All right. So,
and European standard.
Yeah, I definitely don't know what that is. So,
yeah, not US.
Okay. All right. So,
US is like you can't see a nipple or you get brain damage. In Europe, it's like, yes, okay.
But you guys' rants kind of coincide with each other, so I'm gonna step back and just listen to you guys while you go. So we're gonna let Jeff go first, and actually, Joseph. I don't know if you want to combine and talk with him or whatever. Just you guys go. It's your rant. It's your time.
Well, you may have to butt in every now and then because him and I are gonna fight over who gets to work, who gets to talk, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to mediate the rant itself.
I'm pretty sure of that. I know that for a fact. Because once Joseph starts going, he don't stop.
Yeah, I mean he is definitely worse than me. All right, let's get this thing going because I'm excited. I am amped up, and when I get amped up and passionate about my rants, then I gotta just let it flow. I gotta feel the rant and let it come to me, and that's where we're at right now. So we need to get this thing rolling.
Let's do it.
So, with that being said, on this great edition of the No Name Podcast rant, I don't even know who sponsors it because I don't care, but my rant is going to go out to all the yahoos that are up and coming drivers that show a little bit of talent, that can win on the local level, that can win a couple series races, that can maybe even travel out to a regional race and barely squeak by and make that pro buggy A-main or that pro buggy regional type race where you're just kind of up there, but you're not quite good enough to compete for any type of win outside of your little club race area. So that's what this rant is going to be directed to on my end.
Okay.
And where it comes from is I travel around a lot. I go to a lot of different races all over the Southeast, and I'm intermingled with a lot of the up and comers. So not just with my particular sponsors, but through other sponsors, different manufacturers, Mugen, Associated, JQ, J Concepts. I mean, name the manufacturer. I'm within those drivers of the upper level of the local club areas. So I get to hear a lot of the BS, and a lot of them are kids. We're talking age group between 16 and 21, maybe, if that, right? So it's kind of the younger crowd up and coming. And one of the things that has really, really, really pissed me off lately as being an old-time racer and understanding what it takes to actually get a sponsorship back in the day. My problem with today's crowd of young drivers is they don't value what they have. They expect what they have. So I'm a young driver. I can show some talent. I immediately expect to get sponsored. Within a year of being sponsored with said sponsor, now I expect to get some free shit. Some of them deserve some sort of free shit, maybe not. But to the level of where we're at and where we're going as a sport and hobby is insane to me. Like, it is driving me absolutely freaking crazy. And where it comes from is I was at a recent race, and there was a group of kids joking, carrying on, having a good time, and they were the fast kids of the race, no doubt about it. But the topic of conversation is they're bragging about their deals and their sponsorships. And they're not just 50 off sponsorships or a 75 off sponsorship. These are $100 sponsorships where they're getting free product from the manufacturers. Now, it's becoming a standard. I mean, more and more people are giving it, right? Not a big deal. But when they start bragging about their actual budgets and how much their budgets are, I lost my shit. Like, these guys getting $5,000 of product free every quarter, $3,000 of product free every quarter. And then where I really, really fucking lost my shit is when you go to these so-called elite drivers of this particular little fucking club that we're in. When you go to these drivers and you say, yo, man, I broke a part. Do you got it? Nah, man, I ain't got no parts. What the fuck are you talking about? You don't have any parts. You got a $5,000 budget and you don't got a fucking A-arm. Are you serious? Like, that shit drives me nuts. And then that same guy is the one that's going to come up to me and be like, yo, Jeff, you got some parts? Well, fuck yeah, I got some parts because I buy my shit and I know what I need. I don't get it for free. But yet I'm the one supplying a fucking part to the 100% guy with a $5,000 fucking budget. Drives me absolutely insane.
I can hear it in your voice.
Oh my God. It is. I can't. It's frustrating because the manufacturers are their worst enemy. Like, everybody wants to talk about, we need change. We need change in the hobby. We need to make the hobby better. We need to do this. We need to do that. Stop giving away fucking product. Make some actual money. Like, that's going to change. That's going to help the industry. When you can make money and then you can promote the product or the hobby instead of giving all this product away to a driver who can't fucking even make an A main outside of his state that he's in. Like, how the fuck is that even reasonable? I don't understand how you can do that. I got some talent. I'm a young kid. I can win a fucking series race, but I can't go to a freaking Wicked Weekend and make an A main.
Yeah.
Like, really, I don't fucking get it. How does it justify giving them free anything when they can't even make an A main outside of their state?
Just to clarify on that, when we're talking about $5,000 budgets, we're talking about like off MSRP or off retail, right?
Yeah, it'd be off of retail.
Okay, so it's not
so
like
it wouldn't even be like a MSRP. It's going to be full retail, whatever that is.
But that's better than MSRP. MSRP is like the over exaggerated manufacturer suggested retail pricing, which is always high. So
yeah, it would be whatever the higher one is.
Well, that's MSRP.
If you're talking like a set of tires, right?
Right.
So if a set of tires retails for $35, they're getting that set of tires for free, but that $35 is charged to their budget.
Right. Got you. Yeah, man, it's as it's a bragging right. I always say this. People just want that deal, man. I don't even think they really care about the deal. They just want to be able to brag and say, I get 50 off or I get 75 off. They're really like,
it used to be like that. Like, it used to be, I got 50 off, man. I am somebody, right? But that 50 off now is meaningless. Yeah. Like, that's not even a starter. Mm-hmm. Like, the manufacturers now, the new 50 is 65 or 75%.
Right.
Like, a 50 off is nothing. And now the whole 100%, and I'm telling you right now, Proline's the one that fucking started that shit. By giving away these little mini budgets, like a $500 budget, and then 50% off anything after $500, right? So $500 budget is nothing. That's like, what, 2 sets of tires.
Mm-hmm.
So every quarter I'll get 2 sets of tires, and then I'm paying 50% for everything else. So to me, that's a bullshit thing. But it's a gimmick, and it worked for Proline.
Yes.
Well, because they started that, now everybody else is starting to have to somewhat jump on board with that. And then it's a fight for these younger kids coming up that they do show some talent. They do. They're fast, and they have potential. But they're no Ryan Mayfield. They're no Cavallari. They're no Tessman or Ronafo. These guys will never be on their fucking level. But they're getting paid. They're not getting paychecks, but they're getting budgets like they are. And I don't understand how winning a series race in your local region justifies giving that type of free shit when our industry is so fucking small and nobody's making any money anyway, and everybody bitches about not making any money, but we can give away all this fucking product. And you're talking one guy. So, like, if one dude has a $5,000 budget, well, in this one particular race we were at, there's a group of like 6 guys. So if all 6 guys are 100% guys, by the time you add it up, you're talking like $10,000 worth of product.
That's insane.
Like, how the fuck can you justify that? I don't understand how giving away that much product will pay the bills. I mean, obviously it is because these manufacturers are still in business, but how does it pay the bills? No wonder the poor fucking sportsman guy that's going out that does have to pay for his shit has to pay fucking $35 and $40 for a set of tires because these yahoos over here who think they're the next fucking Ryan Mayfield gets their shit for free. Just so they can win a series race with 15 fucking entries in it. Like, I don't get it.
And the bad thing about budgets, too, is when a driver gets a budget, he's going to order the maximum amount of that budget, regardless of if he needs it or not. I've noticed that, too. I mean, that's kind of how I think, too. If I have a budget on something, I'm like, oh, the quarter's about to end. I'm just going to order the full amount of my budget.
Well, yeah, you'd be stupid not to max it out.
Yeah. So there are cases where someone will order more than they need just because they have the budget. So that's a bit of a problem too.
Yeah, it's not about, and just listening to these kids talk, and it's not just this one particular race, but I was at a race last weekend, and kind of the same thing. It's like, you know, these kids, they have their priorities are so wrong. They're so messed up because it's not about buying the parts to rebuild your car to keep your car running. It's about kits. Like one kid is bragging that he has 3 fucking 10 scale kits. He's got a carpet car. He's got a dirt car. He's got a, you know, high bite clay car. And then it's like, he's proud that he has 3 kits, all the same basic fucking car, all full of electronics, all with batteries and ready to roll, but he doesn't have a fucking A-arm to fix any one of them cars. How is that fucking smart? Like, I don't get it. I don't fucking understand it.
But I think most of the times these guys are also the guys who will never make it. Like, they will never be Ryan Cavallari or Spencer Rivkin. Like, they'll be the guy who looks cool in the pits.
Well, yeah, but so my problem though, like, I can't blame the racer. I don't blame the guy. I don't blame the racers because they're getting what the manufacturers are giving, right? And so to me, it's the manufacturers that's the fucking idiots in this whole thing. Like, they're the dumb ones that says, hey, I got a bright idea. Let's fucking give away shit for somebody to go win a club race.
You know, I had a guy one time say to me, I've had a few people say it to me. I guess because they feel, oh, you're JQ Racing. You guys are the small guys. You should give me a car. I'm going to be a champion with you guys. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to give you a car. Well, that means I need you to sell me 15 right away, you know. And it's like, well, what you mean? I said, well, if I'm going to give you a car, I need 15 cars to make up for the cars that I'm going to give you, plus the parts and all that type of stuff. So if you can't do that, then what sense does it make? And I'm not saying it's just about, yeah. At the end of the day, we're here to. It's an industry. I like to call it scale motorsports now because I did my RCGP podcast with Nick Damon, and I like how he said scale motorsports, so I'm going to call it that from now on. But it's still RC car racing, and we're having fun. But I think the problem is everybody thinks, like you said, everybody thinks they deserve free stuff, and life doesn't. And it doesn't always work. It doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that. Nothing's free in life. You know, something comes at a cost anyway. So if I'm gonna give you a free car, I want you to help me sell kits. That means you're doing well at a race, at your races, helping people out, being part of a team and whatnot. And in exchange for that, we offer you this discounts, support, social media presence, all that type of stuff. So I get it, man. I get your frustration because I go through it as well as a team manager or whatever I am.
Well, yeah, but I mean but this is so, I don't give JQ Racing a lot of credit because, it's fucking JQ, but the one thing I will respect that you guys are doing is you're not jumping on that bandwagon. One, probably because you can't fucking afford to, but two, because it's like the one thing I will say that Joseph does have is he has at least enough common sense to say, you're not worth it. Like, why the fuck am I going to give you anything free when you can't win? Like, seriously. And I believe in that because even me coming up, I was never anybody as far as on the racing side of things. I was never fucking going to go compete for a national championship or a world title or anything like that. And I don't ever feel like I'm deserving of anything for free. Like, I will pay for my shit unless I'm going above and beyond the racing part. So if I'm going to a race to help sell a product or help promote a product and I'm not even racing, right? Then at that point, yeah, I kind of expect a little more than just a discount because I'm doing more than just being at the track and supporting another driver or trying to make the product look good. Mm-hmm. So there is those cases where that comes into play, but that's very few and far between. The kids nowadays, it's all about like they even know they're not that good. Like they know they're good enough to win in the series or at their local level, but they know that they're never going to go to a regional or national event and compete for a win. They fucking know it, right? But they still act like they deserve those kind of deals. And the problem is because they don't know any better. Like, that's how they came up. These are kids that have been in the hobby for 2 and 3 years, and that's how the hobby's gone. So, like, they are, Scale Motorsports. That's how the Scale Motorsports have gone, It's because that's where we are teaching them of saying, hey, you can be in the hobby for a year or 2 years, and you can get free shit.
Mm-hmm. And I feel that these guys have to understand that there are requirements by them as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I heard too many stories about guys like just getting pissed off with their cars and throwing them and talking crap, and that's not how like every person. If you're sponsored by somebody or whatever people want to say it is, you owe that company at least that to represent them in a respectful way. Like, don't bash your equipment. Show up to the track prepared, ready to race, and do your best. Like, that's all I ask out of anybody. Don't bash us. Do your best. Have fun. You know what I mean? Be realistic with yourself as well.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. The difficulty for the manufacturers is, I think that because there are so many manufacturers now, so many car brands, so many tire brands, engine brands, there's too many basically. And everyone's going to feel like, okay, if I don't give this deal to this customer, then they're going to go somewhere else. But it's gone too far now. Too many people are getting the discounts. Too many undeserving people are getting free stuff. And it's at the point where I think it's the manufacturers tricking themselves, because some guy who they feel, well, this guy doesn't really deserve free stuff, but he'll probably get it somewhere else. He probably wouldn't get it anywhere else. That's what I feel many times. Like, for whatever reason, he has this in with one company. Like, he knows someone there, or he's met the guys, or whatever. And that's why he gets the free deal. But if he went somewhere else, he wouldn't get it. Mm-hmm. So even this company he has the in with, if they just said no, he'd probably be happy with whatever he gets. So it's like, but it's hard to know those cases, because then there are cases where you say no and they go somewhere else. So as a manufacturer, you just have to, like, you have to draw the line yourself and not worry about who stays and who goes and what happens. You just have to do it for yourself. Like, this is the standard we go for. This is our choice.
I agree with that statement. But the problem is it's a fad, right? So here's something. This is another thing I experienced recently, right? So last year I'm with Associated. This year I'm with JQ. Not a sponsored guy, but I just run the JQ car, right? Because, you're too fucking cheap to give me a discount. So anyway...
You didn't pass the standard test we have. You don't.
I know. See, I have to rely on the free contingency thing that goes out to all the people running a JQ car in order to get my parts, at a discount. So I can use. But my problem is I don't budget right. So when I get my little contingency thing, I spend that on liquor instead of parts, and then I'm still paying fucking retail for parts. So it's not working right. But anyway, that's beside the point. But the other part to that is you're right. There is a lot of manufacturers around and a lot of the Chinese guys. So you could take like VP Pro or the James Racing and, those kind of tire guys, right? They can sell tires cheaper. It's a direct copy of somebody else's tire and then they sell it cheaper, right? That's what they're doing. So those guys were driving the sponsorships because they were getting a lot of the sportsman guys and all that. So then the JCs and the AKAs to some degree have to kind of stoop down to their level to get some of those guaranteed customers back, right? But the problem is what I'm learning is when I made the switch from Associated to JQ, people view me different now. And it's a fad. It's because I went from Team Associated, fucking world champion, worldwide known, great products, great people, blah, 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 this other stuff. And now I'm running JQ, which is the fucking dump of the RC industry.
So people think.
So the perception, that's the perception. Now the fucking car is as good. Like I'm as good with this car as I was with that car, right? I'm not any faster. I'm not any slower. I'm actually probably more consistent with the JQ car than I was with the Associated. So people view me different because of the manufacturer I chose to run this year, right? Now, kids, younger crowd who are so manipulated and they're so worried about their image, they won't run a JQ car because, oh my gosh, I can't run that because my buddy over here who's sponsored by Associated is going to make fun of me because I'm running a JQ car. So he would rather not get a JQ sponsorship and get all the extra help and support that goes with it. And I will go over here to Associated and not get a sponsorship, but I'm going to run that car because I don't want to be made fun of for this car, right? So there's a fad that goes in with that where I don't care if you're giving discounts away or not, you're going to get the kids are manipulated too much by the peer pressure. It's a peer pressure thing.
It's like a fashion thing, a status thing. And
it is.
I mean, there may be kids out there that believe in exactly what we're doing. In fact, I've heard them say that. And then they'll say that, but everybody will, I literally one kid, everybody will make fun of me because I'm running a JQ. And you know what I said to him? I said, they only make fun of you till you start beating them.
And that's a very true statement. And that's something that I've had to experience even recently. It's because, like, you could go offer one of these Yahoo kids that thinks that they're fucking the next Mayfield. Right now today, JQ could go offer them 100% and travel money, and they won't take it because it's JQ. But Associate could go in and offer 75% and hopes that one day they might get 100% and they'll jump on it.
Yeah, but that's changing. What's changing that perception slowly but surely? It's definitely turning around, in my opinion.
I agree, but then you have the next, company coming that would come up that's going to take the JQ place, right? So JQ, as an industry, is moving up. You're getting more drivers. You're getting better quality drivers. The product is getting more developed and defined and better. So all that stuff's moving up. It's taken them fucking forever. I have to say that, part of that's because I am running the JQ car. So the whole image is just better. Like the team itself is just so much better now that I'm in the JQ pits more often. I feel like I really, really brighten people's day when I walk into the pits and say, "Good morning, my fellow racers, and you guys are fucking awesome today." But that's just me. That's my personal opinion. But again, I'm not going to sit there and brag about some bullshit sponsorship that, obviously, I don't have a bullshit sponsorship because I don't fucking get one. But if I had one, I'm not going to sit there and brag to everybody in the JQ pits that says, "Yo, I'm fucking 65% off this time."
Yeah, we don't even have that, so it doesn't matter, because then a lot of these people understand that there are discounts off MSRP, not retail. So it's a big. I go through it every day. I always say this when somebody hits me up, and the first thing they say is, "What type of deal can you get me at JQ Racing?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know. Why do you want to join JQ Racing if you're just worried about a deal? Like, you know, hey, I'm like this. I'm to the point now. You believe in what we're doing, and that's it. Like, if you believe in what we're doing and you want to be a part of it, then this is where you want to be. If you want to be a part, like I say it all the time, if you want to be a part of a team, not just a number, then come to us. Simple.
But I think also a good thing is also to say, like, you have to own a JQ car before you get a deal on a JQ car. I believe that's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if Keenan always abides by that, but that's how it should be. Like, get a JQ car, run it. If you like it, then we can talk about a deal. Unless you are.
So that means next year I'll get a deal, right? Because I've been I'll be running it for a year. So the next year I'll get a fucking
you can put in an application and we'll see if it's approved or not.
Okay.
But
all right.
There's that. And then there was another point I had. What was it?
You have a point.
Oh, yeah.
Did you forget
this
again?
Really annoys me. Okay, this annoys me with these percentages, okay? I guess people just don't understand. So they say, "Oh, you're only going to give me 40% off?" Well, yeah, because it's 40% off the price that you would actually pay if you bought this on A-Main or wherever, or Beach RC or wherever you go, right?
Yeah.
So it's 40% off. They go, "Well, I can get 65 off some other." Then we go check, and it's off MSRP. So instead of it being like a $15 part, it's a $25 part or something, MSRP.
Right.
So actually the 40% off is more. It's cheaper. The part is actually cheaper than if you get the 65% off, which is calculated off a higher price, like an inflated price.
Right.
But they don't get that. So I go, okay, so what percentage do you want? Like, I can give you a 90% off deal if you want. They're like, "Oh, yeah, really? Yeah." So we're going to calculate that 90% off a $56 part, you know?
You mean
we're just going to inflate the retail?
No, the MSRP.
And people just, well, whatever. And people just don't understand that. It's not about the percentage, but they think it's about the percentage. It's about what you actually pay. Mm-hmm. So people would be happier with a 90% deal, but pay more than a 40% deal and pay less. Yeah. That just blows my mind every time.
Right, because it's bragging rights. They're going to go to that pit area that we're talking about, and where they're going to brag, "What do you get?" "I get 65%. Well, I fucking get 90%. So piss on you. I'm better than you. You can kick my ass on the track every fucking day, but I'm better than you because I get a better percentage."
And where you really notice this is on kits, because on parts it's harder to compare, but on kits you can compare. So someone is saying like, "Yeah, I get 70% off. Well, I only get 50. Well, how much do you pay for a kit?" "Well, I pay 400. Well, I pay 450. Like, it's so the guy that's paying less might have a smaller percentage, but that doesn't matter because I get 70 off. But I pay more than you, who get 50 off. But I still get 70 off.
Yeah, it's
like,
it's stupid.
Just, it's so weird.
It's just a number.
It's insane. And what I don't get, and the other part to this whole thing that I don't get, is why the manufacturers allow it. And I've asked many people high up in manufacturers.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because no one has the balls to not do it.
Because they're afraid of losing little fucking Johnny that can go win a series race. We need little Johnny that fucking bad that we're going to give him a ton of product for free every quarter because he can win a state race.
Yeah, but I don't think, like the big manufacturers, the main brands, I don't think they would need to do this.
They do. promise you they do.
Do you really think that they have to do this to this extent?
Okay, so I know for a fact, 100% fact, that Associated and TLR are fighting for these up-and-coming teenage, low-20 drivers that show a little bit of talent. Fighting for them. Like offering them unlimited amount of free kits. I know this for a fact. They are fighting over these kids, and it is absolutely insane to me that they're doing that.
That is insane. But it must be I also find that it's insane that like people are making money off stock racing too. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what we're
It's
gonna
a difficult problem. There's no real easy solution to it.
There's not, but it's a problem in the sense that either two things need to happen. So either it needs to be one of those hidden secrets that nobody knows about, and somehow, some way, these manufacturers need to tell these young drivers that if you talk about your fucking contract, then I'm going to boot you off the team or some bullshit thing, which isn't going to happen. But it either needs to be a hidden secret, or they just need to open up the fucking floodgates and let everybody know what everybody's getting, because this shit is driving me insane just listening to these freaking yahoos talk about it. Like,
it's not just kids though. It's grown ass man doing the same thing too.
Yeah, but it's more the kids. It's more this 17, 16 up through 21, 22 up and comers, one of the greatest quotes, one of the best quotes that I've heard in a while was, how did it go? It went, you're a factory guy when you no longer have to talk about being a factory guy.
You should let your work.
Was that a quote from the great Jeff Keaton?
That is fucking beautiful. Like, that is a beautiful freaking statement, and it is so true. Like, you can sit here and brag about how good you are because you got a great percentage and you got a great discount and you get free shit. But when you're getting your ass handed to you on the fucking track week in and week out, you're not that good. I'm sorry. You kind of fucking suck.
Okay. So, can I rant now?
Yes.
Can I get to my
but you
rant?
can't. You don't look. Don't not.
Okay.
Do it fast.
Wait. Can we get a ranking system on whose rant is better? Can we get a fucking hell yeah on whose rant is better?
Well,
go.
Okay. Listen. So we don't really have a solution to Jeff's problem here. Jeff is saying and ranting about how too many people get discounts and too many people get free stuff, and they don't really deserve it. And it's an issue. How do we solve this? And I have an idea for a solution, because this is something that pisses me off. I think there are too many pros in RC. Like, not everyone deserves to be a pro. Seriously. Just because you have your name on your back, on your shirt, and a bunch of sponsors, and you post on social media, and you do well at races, I don't think you should get paid. And I just think there are too many people who are paid in RC.
Really?
They don't deserve it. Yeah, they really don't deserve it. I don't understand why it's become this way.
Because
it's the same. Okay, so too many people get 50% off deals or whatever percentage off. Too many people get free stuff. I think too many people are also paid. They get travel, they get monthly paychecks, whatever it is. There's too many of them.
Is there really
and I
that
think
many?
The solution to the problem is you start from the top. So I think there needs to be less pro drivers. Less drivers who get salaries, less drivers who get travel paid, and you focus on the best. You just focus on the very best. So all these guys who are like 15th to 30th, just eliminate them from the teams.
That's you.
Sorry, you're not paid anymore. Yeah, Yeah, that would be me, like, before I started. Well, not really. I mean, I was better than that just when I started. But yeah, I understand. It would be me. Right now, it would be me. I wouldn't be sponsored. I wouldn't be paid by company. And I think that's right. You know why? Because then those guys would be the guys who get the free stuff. Mm-hmm. And then all these yahoos who get it now, they would be paying for their shit.
Right. So I get what you mean.
So to get 100%, you would really have to be a good driver. Mm-hmm. Because instead of these guys, like, how can you have professional guys finishing like 30th at the World Championships? It should be like the professional guys are the guys who make the main. Those are the pros. And then a couple of them miss the main. And that's it. So we were talking about this before also about the mains these days. We got 15 cars in the main. Why not just make it 10?
I don't know.
Because the competition to make that main would be that much better. So there are guys who make the main. Every single time they make a main, it's like 12th to 15th position, right? They never make the main and start 9th or 8th or 7th, right? So they would never make a main. If the main was 10 cars, those guys would never make the big mains. So they don't deserve to be professional. They don't deserve to get paid.
I get your point.
Or maybe they just get travel paid.
And then the people.
But now there are so many cars in the main. So if you are like 13th fastest, you keep making the main, like bumping from the B, making the main. You can say like, yeah, I made the main. You know, I'm an A main driver. But you never crack the top 10. So like, why do you deserve to have a, full-time salary and be a pro? That's kind of my rant. I think it starts from the top.
Question.
Stop paying so many guys, and then that's going to eventually change the 100% deals and the percentage discount deals. That's what I think.
Yeah, and that comes to my point of always saying we need a definite line between professionalism, the professional guys, and amateur guys. So maybe the guys that aren't in the top 15, let's use top 15. Maybe they're not pros, but they're like top amateurs, and they get free stuff. Like you said, maybe they get a little bit of travel money, exactly like you said. And then these guys that Jeff's talking about, they have to go make their way towards that sec. Like, okay, I'm there now. I need to go do this so I can be a top amateur. I get free stuff. Okay, yeah. Hey, look, I'm knocking on the door of that A main. Hey, I made the A mains. I'm making constant A mains. I mean constant A mains against people of your of equal caliber of talent. Not just A mains where 3 or 4 of those guys show up. But then again, we don't have, that comes back to my whole spiel about we don't have a proper series in RC. But I get that.
Well, when you look at other sports, there's the guys who can win. They are paid a lot of money. Okay, mm-hmm. And then there's a big drop to the next group of guys who like their potential is like they can finish 5th or so, 5th to 10th, and then it kind of trickles down from there and less, and then the kind of bottom of the good guys, they're like basically struggling to get to the races. Mm-hmm. Like they just make it by.
Yeah, like motocross. You're talking about supercross.
Well, for example, and I think in RC it's like the guys who can win, they get paid okay money. Like the reason they have good money is because they have so many different companies paying them. Mm-hmm. But if we look at car brands, for example, let's say a top guy gets paid $2,000 from a car manufacturer, and he's a guy that can win races. Okay. Well, someone who just makes the main in 13th might be getting 1,500 from a car brand. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make sense to me.
It's not that much of a difference.
How can the guy? There should be a bigger difference there already.
Well, I agree. I look at that on the side of if you even take the last Worlds, 10 scale, 8 scale, more so 8 scale because it's easier to understand this part of it. But to your credit, if I'm good enough to make the final at a Worlds event, right? But I make that final and I'm in the final and I have no issues. And Mayfield's in that final, and Mayfield laps me 5 fucking times in that final. Am I a pro driver?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like,
I think if you make that main, then you have an argument. But I think if it was 10 guys, it would make it that much more prestigious.
Yeah,
and most of the time, that like 11th to 15th is lap traffic. Like they might as not well be in the main.
That's my issue now with a lot of these races we're going to is there is such a huge separation in talent because every main that you go to, regional, national, worlds, there's only at best 3 to 4 cars, maybe 5, that are finishing on the same lap. Everybody else is lap traffic. And I don't care what type of race you go to. If you look at the finals, that's how the races are ending. And then you bring it down into like a club level or a series race, and you can have 12 cars in the A main at a series race at your local level. There's 2 guys that are actually on the same lap. Everybody else is 2, 3, 4, 5 laps down. Like the racing itself has really got diluted because the talent level, there's such a big gap in talent levels. And to your point, if you take your point, there is only what? At best, 10 drivers in the fucking world that deserve to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
At best.
I don't think it's much more than that are paid.
Well, let's say paid for racing. Like I'm a racer. I don't give a shit about anyone else or anything else. I race.
Right.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah.
There are other people who can deserve to be paid for other things. Like they are great ambassadors for the product. They go to like regional events, hold clinics, do.
So that would be your
other
Drakes.
kind of shit you can do. Yeah.
That would be your Drakes, your Lutzes, those guys.
Yeah. So there's still a way to be paid by a manufacturer for doing stuff. But I'm talking about like purely racing. Like this guy is paid to go race.
So like me, because I like to name drop, I'm a name dropper kind of guy. So if you break it down into people, so your Mayfields, your Cavs, your
Ron Falk,
your Warner folks, you're right. Those guys are your paid guys, right? So now you bring it down into your Cole Ogdens, your Joe Bourne horses, and then some Euro guys, even like Boots,
Figueiredo, Neumann.
Yeah, all of them. Like none of those guys. Those are your super fast free guys. I'm going to pay your travel to go to this race, but I'm not going to pay you a monthly salary until you can go out and beat Mayfield on a regular basis, or you can go out and beat Ronald Folk on a regular basis.
Exactly. That's my point. Because when those guys are the guys who get the travel, then they're not going to pay Jeff Keaton travel. Sorry, Jeff, you're going to have to improve here because Bornhorst is on our travel team.
Right?
Does that make sense? And then
no, I agree.
Everyone's basically bumped down one step.
Because, I think that's part of the whole issue is the cost of the hobby is so freaking expensive because the operating costs for the manufacturers is so freaking expensive. I mean,
but this is never going to change unless we have more structure in the hobby. See, at the moment, it's really good for the racers because they can get away with not being that good but getting great deals because they can be like, well, I finished 6th at the PMB, and well, the PMB looks like a huge race. It's not really. I mean, it has many entries, but it's pretty easy, quote unquote, to make the main if you're a decent driver, because there are a few really good guys, and then it drops off really quick.
Yeah,
so
because
if the main is a huge deal, but
you got to take the entries per class.
Yeah,
so if you take the
driver
pro class,
uses that.
Yeah, if you take the pro class at PMB, there's going to be 25 entries out of 900 that show up to PMB. So out of 25 entries in the pro class, I finished 15th. Yay me. I'm fucking somebody. I deserve a $5,000 budget. Because I beat like 10 people.
Let's put it this way. Most of these big races, you can be a driver and say, yeah, I make the mains at these big races, and you finish, around 10th or something. If there was actually more of a structure where more of the same drivers went to all these races, that same guy would maybe finish 25th. So he would be like a 25th to 30th guy. If there was truly, a series of races and everyone went there, like that's his rank in the world. Like he's about 25th to 30th. Now, in this utopian world where this would happen, he wouldn't be a paid driver because he's not good enough. He never features up in the mains. But the way we have our racing now, because he goes to PMB and finishes 6th, he looks a lot better than he actually is. So he gets paid by companies.
Hey, hang on. I'm still Googling utopian. Hold on. I'm still pulling that shit up. Give me a fucking minute, man.
I get your point.
But
You're
do you see
fucking
what I
throwing
mean?
these words out there again. God damn it.
But I just feel like the RC industry is broken because we have broken it. We as manufacturers, as the companies in it.
Well, I'm glad to see
Federations,
that
the
you're
companies,
taking some fault.
No, but seriously, like the industry works for race promoters, race organizers, and like semi-decent drivers. It's easy. I mean, it's relatively easy to put on a big race, get a lot of entries, make a good amount of money. Because races just go to any race where top drivers are, and it's like, oh, wow, we sat around all day and drove twice, but it's awesome. Like, the level you have to achieve to keep people happy is very low. Okay, so it works for race organizers. It also works for drivers who are decent, semi-pro guys. It's very easy to get in this hobby, do well, get free stuff, get paid, get travel. Like, you can do that in this hobby if you have a fucking functioning brain in your head and 10% skill.
Okay, answer me this. You've been in the hobby a long time. I've been in it a very long time. When did it change? When did it change from actually getting a legit sponsorship from one of the major brands to where we are now? At what point did that change? Can you think of it? Do you recall?
Yes. It started changing around 2000 and like 2003, 2004, like this kind of time, because that's when the manufacturers in Taiwan started doing their own shit. Like up to then, it was always European or American companies would manufacture their stuff over there and then do all the sales and marketing. So then it was under control. But then when the Chinese and Taiwanese companies started creating their own brands, what happened was we got more brands, lower prices, and a lot of deals to anyone. So there was just some random guy who used to be a retail customer for Kyosho, and then some new Taiwan brand came up, and he's like, fuck it, I'm going to run this. And he gets a good deal, or he becomes the local dealer or distributor or whatever. And that's kind of when it started changing.
Yeah.
So when all these Hobao and Hongnor and Team C and all these brands,
the VP Pros and
when they entered the market with their own brands instead of just manufacturing for others, that's when it changed. And I think that established brands, the established companies in RC, they have since then never reacted to it, never made any changes in their business models or stuff to fix it. They just kind of joined in.
Right.
And that's why we are where we are, I think.
They overreacted to the fucking the Japanese
I feel
guys.
like they overreacted to it.
Right. Because see, if they hadn't back then, and they relied on the whole fad thing, right? So
yes,
I think
it would have been okay.
Yeah, I want to wear the Gucci shit because that's the fad and that's the cool stuff. And if they would have relied on that back then, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Yeah, because that's how branding works. When you have the brand, like, does Louis Vuitton and Gucci and do they maintain their price level? Do they maintain their branding, or do they hey, I'll give you a deal? Right. They don't give deals to customers. You kidding?
Right.
They use top celebrities and stuff to promote and brand their products, right? that's what, Associated should do. Like Associated, we've got Ongaro, we've got Rivkin, but all these guys who they're giving stuff out, they shouldn't be doing that. And they should have never started doing that. Not to this extent. Now it's too late. Everyone joined in. Everyone devalued their brand. Give way too many people stuff. Pay way too many people. Now it's harder. Because if one of the top brands changes, they're going to lose out. At least short term. So it's kind of everyone has to do it or no one. And that's why I think the only way to change it is top down. More structure in the racing, paying less people, and that's how it's eventually going to change.
Well, okay, I got it. I know how to solve the problem. We need to do like the NFL, right? So we need to have like the Goodell of the RC industry that goes around to all the owners, and he advocates for all the owners, and he makes all the contracts, and he says, okay, ownerships, you can have 3 paid drivers and 20 100% drivers and 5 whatever drivers and structure it down, right? So we need that Goodell guy that's going to go around to all the manufacturers and make that happen. I'll be that Goodell dude. I want to be the Roger Goodell of RC racing. That's my job right there. That is my life goal right there.
You know what? That would actually help solve it. I don't think that's going to happen in a million years. Like having been involved in doing the whole RCGP thing, I said it already a long time ago. Like the RC industry, I feel it doesn't deserve saving. Just like having to deal with some companies, I've realized why they are struggling. Like it's self-inflicted. Seriously,
I believe that. I totally believe that.
I think this industry, and I understand I'm not a professional. Like I didn't go to business school and study marketing and do all this shit. I just was a retarded Finnish kid from a small village who raced RC cars, and I made my own car.
What do you mean? Well, what do you mean was? I am.
I'm an adult now. I'm still retarded.
Okay.
So anyway, just even I can tell that the industry is full of people who raced RC cars and then for whatever reason just started their own company. Like the level of professionalism is not very high in RC. And I understand some people might think that's weird coming from me because I'm one of those people, but maybe I just have a bit more vision than most. Like I can see that. So this is self-inflicted. It could be improved, but I don't see it being improved.
Well, I think there's a difference between seeing it and saying it out loud. Like you're a dumbass that will say it out loud. Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot that started my own company and is doing okay now, but it could be better. Where most people are going to say, fuck no, I know it all and I know how to fix everything, and I'm running an established company and great things are happening, and they won't admit that they're part of the problem instead of part of the solution.
And they don't want to work together. I think we have to work together
to
make things better.
Yeah, exactly. Like this whole, what was the guy you said you want to be?
Roger Goodell.
Roger Goodell.
Like this Goodell thing. I think everyone could probably see like, hey, this would actually solve many of our problems. But it's not going to happen because the more established companies are going to be like, well, we're the more established companies. We don't want to do something. Yeah, it would help us, but it would also help those smaller companies. So we're not going to want to do that. That's how people think. It's like even if I gain something, if I know that someone else will also gain something, I'm not going to do that.
Got you. And like it's just how it is, man. Like I don't like, I'll bring people. Like, obviously, I work for JQ Racing. I work for you. We've been working together for the last 2 years. I push that all the time. But I did.
You say that like it's actually fucking true. Like you actually get a paycheck.
Yeah. There we go.
Like you've said it so much that you're actually committed to it and you believe it, but you fucking don't. You don't make any money.
But for instance,
see, this is why JQ's so fucking good, because like He's convinced you, Keenan, that you actually have a fucking job and you have no fucking job. Like, how cool is that?
I don't know. That's his mind tricks. But my point was, like, I wanted to do this podcast, and I do this podcast without prejudice. Like, you know, I don't care what car you drive or what company you work for. I want to talk about RC and get your perspective from that. And, you know, yes, that I think, like, coming on and talking about your brand and stuff, I don't have no problem with that. Like, you know what I mean? Because I think that's a way that it's a small step to working together with others to make the industry better, in my opinion. That's how I look at it sometimes.
That's how I've always been, and that's how I said that this podcast should be done also.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's missing in so many other companies, and that's why we won't be able to improve the RC industry in the near future, at least very easily, because most people are not like that.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, if you would go to even top drivers, like, it's just how humans are. You tell someone, look, here's the deal. You're going to become world champion, but your biggest rival, the person that you don't like always want to beat, he's going to become double world champion. Are you going to take the deal? Most people would say no.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can't deal with the fact that someone else has success or someone else does well. Or does better than them. Like, you would be world champion. They would rather not be world champion just so that someone else can't be double world champion. Does that make sense? Like, people are just so... I don't even know the word for that. It's not exactly narrow-minded or it's kind of a selfishness in a way.
In that analogy, I disagree with you, because I think a lot of people will still... It's just like right now, you can take the deals, right? So this guy can sit here and say, I won't take a JQ deal at 100% because I don't, that brand isn't up to my level, but I'll go to Associated and I'm going to take a 75 off deal because that's more of a fatty brand. So in that case, if you use kind of the same analogy, that same driver will be more than happy to take that one world champion and the free shit and fuck the guy with the double world championship, because he can go brag to all his other little fatty buddies, hey, at least I'm a world champion.
Fatty, we got a new word.
Yeah, but I
get both points. But you know what I do know? We're about an hour into this rant, so that means I can't get you guys to rant anymore. This is supposed to be 20 minutes.
So what? This episode is like 5 hours long.
This is like a podcast in itself. But it's valid points, though. It's valid points.
I can't help that you fucking brought me on to do a rant, and I'll fucking rant. Like, come on now.
Pulp MX show is sometimes over 5 hours, so I'm sure you'll be okay.
I know, and that takes me like 3 days or a week to listen to. So I get it. But I think these are valid topics, and I think this is resonating around the industry with people. I mean, I've heard this from many other people as well, so it's good that we talk about it. And what I would like to do is I like to find out what our listeners think about it. So if you guys have something to say when we post this podcast, and you like this episode and like what Jeff and Joseph's talking about, and myself, let us know how you feel. If you don't feel that's how it should be, then I don't know.
And please, for all those listeners out there, please comment on who had the better rant.
Oh yeah.
Me, or the
also why
shithead.
And why? That's a good one.
Who cares about why? Nobody cares about why. I just want, this is favoritism here. This is favoritism. Like, who's the fucking better guy here? Fucking why? Who gives a shit why?
You're a real thylacine, Joseph. You always want something different.
Hey, Google that.
Huh?
I'm fucking still like if stumped Google. Like Google fucking locked up on me.
All right, well, we're gonna end this. I mean, I enjoyed the rant, but I guess we'll call this. And it's been an hour and 1 minute, so I think this is a good rant. And I just want to say to all listeners, thank you for tuning in. Remember, if you guys want to continue to support us, you can. If you want to go the extra mile, you can go to patreon.com/thequagrain. Every little bit helps. We're trying to bring new content to you. I actually have an idea for a new segment. I'm working on it. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be very, very interactive with our listeners. So, yeah, I don't know. Joseph, you have anything to say? Jeff, you have anything to say before we sign off?
No, I've said enough.
Okay. Joseph?
I'm probably going to lose all my sponsors now, but, whatever.
Hey, they'll be like this. So you think there's too many sponsors, guys? We're going to start with eliminating you. Yeah, that's how we're going to start this.
I'm out of the fucking fatty group, so, shit. I'm done.
Hey.
You still have that deal with AKA, right? Like, I can get some fucking AKA.
No, I left.
Wait, I can't get fucking red shit anymore either.
Oh, no.
I'm not allowed to I'm not allowed to get red shit, so fuck, I'm screwed.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for coming on. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Jeff, for your time.
Hey, basically, I'm leading by example. Too many guys are sponsored, so yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just leaving everyone.
All right. Well, my motto: Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. And if it ain't fun, it don't make sense doing it. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Don't do e-buggy.
You always interrupt me when I'm about to sign off. I'll slap you. I'm telling you, Jesus. Anyway, you guys have a good evening, and thank you for your support. And hey, remember, like and share this podcast. Let's get those numbers up. I would like to get 2,000 likes on Facebook as soon as I can. And hey, we got these giveaways coming as well. We got these giveaways.
Are you fucking Canadian?
Why?
As much as you say A.
It's just a Bermudian thing, man. It's a Bermudian thing.
Fucking say
I can't. You know what? I'm ending this podcast.
Giveaways, eh?
Hey, I'm ending this. Hey.
What's this all about?
I don't know.
What's this all about?
Hey, I'm not saying A, I'm saying hey.
Hey.
Everybody, I'm trying to end this. End it. I'm going to do an e-buggy. E-buggy.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. Please tune in next time for more fresh RC content. And if you can, please also support us on patreon.com/The Quay Grain. We will greatly appreciate it. And don't forget, Nitro is the glory.